play that one really easily.
Wild Child, maybe you were raised by mighty hyenas, or maybe you had just lousy parents. Are you sure that's not you, Christine?
What?
Wild Child, maybe you were raised by mighty hyenas, or maybe you just had lousy parents. Are you sure that's not you?
I mean, there's that as well. Except I have mommy magic, so how dare you?
This is true.
I was thinking about DMing this, but I got all on my plate right now, so it's gonna be down the pipe. So if anybody else wants to DM Pokemon, I am 100% on board with playing with you.
So we have on the back burner a Dragon Party and Pokemon. Gotcha.
In space.
Yeah.
In space.
Yeah,
old timer. Age comes with wisdom, experience, and bad hips.
I'm DMing 2 games right now, and I'm trying to play in one, and I'm also
kind of playing in another.
And I'm X13. I mean, Nathaniel is very much a guest character. Like I don't plan on playing him consistently, but
right.
It's fun to kind of hop in.
You're planned for him to just pop in and out randomly.
Mm-hmm. He's a McTraveling doctor, so it kind of makes sense.
He's just oddly following this one party of misfits that get themselves into trouble by getting in with some bandits and losing terribly because of so many crits.
You have to tell me how that goes. I don't know if I'm going to be there this session.
I don't even know if there's going to be a session. No one said anything. Isaac is the only one that says he should be able to join today. Or he should be able to do today after saying that he was not able to do today. And then Jeremiah said...
Did he double back on that?
Yeah, he doubled back on that about 1:15 this morning.
By the way, we were all set up and I'm recording.
Hi, Mom!
Yes, that's right. I started recording without your consent.
And you're that's punishable by death.
That's illegal.
My breach of privacy. How could you breach my trust like this?
Your breach of privacy.
My breach of privacy.
That sounds pretty nice. Wish I had a breach of privacy.
Are you done with the recap yet, Austin?
I don't.
It's been done.
Austin, I think you're the captain of beating privacy, because since no one can actually get a hold of you ever.
What?
I mean, technically, I could drive like 30 minutes and drive up there and say hi to him right now.
I can just come over whenever he wants, dude.
I could, but I'm very lazy.
Come here, we'll play Elden Ring. It'll be great.
Yeah, sure.
Donnie.
Because I'm totally good at these Soulsborne style of games.
It's okay. Like,
what's up, Christine?
Is all of the audio good to go?
Yeah. I checked everything. That's all I did.
I'm gonna close the door again. Get back.
Including yourself,
Also,
Donnie.
you're quiet for some reason, Christine.
That's because my microphone's far away, because I gotta eat pizza.
Got it. Okay.
I have to supply the mommy magic somehow.
I mean, Nick's always quiet, but you not.
Oh, well, thank you. I'll take that as a compliment.
Okay, Ben, you conscious?
Benjamin, are you muted?
Debatably.
Okay.
You
So,
should eat a pizza.
disclaimer. I'm tired. And
Yeah.
I've had a really trash week. So, expect variable levels of DMing today.
I will be role playing with Ina exclusively.
Okay, Ina might not be saying much, but we'll see. Alright. Okay, let me,
I mean, actually, you're gonna roll yourself for the recap?
Boy. That'd be great, because I could just totally be lazy and watch it.
You could, and then the recording will be made lesser of it because of it.
Okay, Christine, you want me to roll you as well?
Sure.
Okay.
I'm usually right next to Dante, so I guess I'm 3.
Bed jerk.
Oh,
It's
it's me.
Nicholas.
Finally! It's been forever since I got to do it.
I'm guessing Austin just put you on the 6th position
I put you on the end.
because you're not actually in here, so you're not visible unless you're number 6.
But you know what?
We are number 1. Hey, hey.
Down, 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 down.
What are you looking for?
His voice that he's trying to do today. Oh, he pinged
He's
it.
reaching for something, and I'm waiting for him to fall out of his chair.
Reaching for his lungs so he can supply voice today.
Reaching for his buttocks so that he doesn't have to use the restroom in the middle of the.
Oh, that's what you're reaching for. I want to be able to talk to the group today. So I'm okay.
It was last session.
If there's a
That's
good
resting on your butt.
recording, I'll be able to listen to it later.
Dude, look at the luster on my nose.
You
That is-
usually have a very
That's
shiny-
that's a very apparently you can move the nameplates for the people in Roll20, and
Can we?
if you move one of them that's like in the middle, then it all just like collapses in. So if you really wanted to, you can actually just layer them all on top of each other.
How are you doing this?
Probably because I have the name only option.
I have that as well.
On the left hand side of it, it should show a little moving
I just did that.
crossbar. There you go.
You can only do it. Whoa! Now they're overlapping. That's super annoying.
I have them overlapping, so I have slightly more of the screen to look at, even though I don't need that portion.
Okay. This is.
Can we also get an F in chat for Dead Behemoth?
Dead Hemoth?
Dead Behemoth.
Yeah, I'm sorry about your Dead Hemoth.
Christine's Raji in the afterlife suddenly sees a giant blue behemoth join her within Bahamut's court.
He goes to Bahamut's court. What a noble behemoth he was. All right.
I mean, he did his job. He did his job nobly, admirably, and
let me know when you're ready, Nicholas.
Dante has true seeing for 1 hour.
Are you ready? Okay, he's ready.
Don't forget that, guys, and don't forget the anti flashbang mode.
Go.
Having vanquished their foe.
You're very quiet. You need to speak up. I'll pause music.
Nick, don't yell from like half a mile away.
I gotta put this in the W2D as Nicholas gets ready.
Can you all not hear me?
Now we
It's
hear.
a lot better now.
You were yelling from across the room last time.
What did it do?
You are now being heard.
I really want to be there for this. It's the studio recording of this guy.
My goodness.
Just like from across the room or across the complex, just screaming. And you can tell he's really training his ways because of the warble. Okay, you ready again, Nicholas?
Yeah. Am I loud enough when I speak like this?
Yes,
You're
now
good.
now we can hear you just fine.
You're good.
Most excellent.
Okay. 3, 2, 1, go.
Having vanquished their Corvian foes and sealed a black portal, the party takes a step back to consider what just transpired. As they recover from the rigors of a near-death experience, they move to consolidate their losses and prepare for the next leg of their journey. What may yet become of the strange and sinister winged creature that sunk into the shadows? And what lies on the road ahead in the verging and rolling plains of Heron? Find out this time on Winter Falls.
No, away with this music. It's too hopeful. It's too cheerful. I need dark, depressing music today because we almost
Hold on.
died.
I'm going.
Faster, Austin, faster! Work faster with your addled brain.
Jeez.
Calling my brain addled is not a constructive way of getting it to work faster. You're just humoring me. Okay. Sure, let's do.
So-
Sounds like Kyle wants a meteor to fall on his character's head.
Always.
So,
I mean, if it's
we're not
dexterity
using
save, I'll
that.
be fine.
You all know the setting.
okay.
You stand, most of you at least, near and about the old decrepit barn. The only building, it appears, that was not nearly burnt to the ground. Several corpses of these strange, two-legged mutt-like creatures just kind of flounced about. Those of them that were asleep were promptly executed by you guys. As you make your way to kind of gather around Ina and Katralgrim. Ina exhausted, Katralgrim, his kind of monotone, fluctuous speakings rolling out and then slowly coming to an end as whatever religious incantations he was reciting just now seemed to have somehow stimulated the energies in this place and made it easier for Ina to do whatever she did. He closed this portal to who knows where. Speaking of who knows where, you guys have no idea what any of what just happened. Nobody made any kind of checks or attempts at recitation. For all you know, you just fought a demon and its legion of weird flesh puppies.
That's unfortunate.
It's unfortunate, yes, though can be remedied, sir.
You're
You have the
correct.
floor. You know where you
Continue.
are.
Yeah, we would have a definite interest in wanting to try and figure out what exactly just happened.
Ed, ever the researcher, will probably take the lead on this, especially since he has the proficiency in religion. I would like to make a religion roll, DM,
On what?
on all the things that just happened. Mainly, though, focusing on what Ina just performed and what she performed it on.
Great. Religion check, go for it.
Christine wants to see something on my sheet.
Can my natural 20 in religion last time help me out here?
If you were to make the roll. But it's Edric making the roll.
Well, I know how to do it, Christine. I am
He knows
rolling
how
with
to do it, Christine.
disadvantage because I'm very tired.
You're like, well, you
17.
see.
An exhausted Edgearch is trying to analyze the situation. Slightly addled. I like that word now.
Greatly addled.
Deeply.
I'm still a 17. It's not too bad.
17. Yeah. Okay. So, Edgearch. I would also say this with your understanding of the arcane. The arcane also applies to the planes. History, religion, arcane, all those three can kind of apply to different planes of existence to a degree. So, you know that this plane you're on currently, this is called the Primaterium. There are two planes of existence that are kind of the shadows of this one. You can sort of think of them like the sunrise and the sunset of this plane, respectively. If this plane were the day, then these two planes are the horizons on either side. And of course, there's a plane far below, but that is not what your check was for. You know one of these, the sunrise, respectively. The Feywild, a place you've been to before. A place full of whimsy, full of bright, cheerful, positive things with a slight edge to it. Everything's not quite as it seems. The sunset. A place known as the Shadowfell. A place of negative emotion and energy. Sadness, death, all of the immaterium, the consciousness of the prime materium, feeds into these two planes. And of course, negative emotions, energies, being the far more prevalent. The Shadowfell is a dangerous place. And you believe Ina, whatever she just did, your check not quite high enough to understand it, she just closed what appeared to have been a puddle, a tiny crack, a portal into the Shadowfell.
Fascinating. Ed will, of course, relay this knowledge to his friends, having no reason to not do that. And he'll probably do so while collapsing onto the ground and sitting cross-legged and panting
Sure.
heavily.
You find a nearby hay bale that is only lightly charred.
Excellent.
As at this point, the entire side of the barn is up in flames. As Ina and Controlgum have at this point slowly migrated their way out to the front of the barn,
Oh, the barn's
as
on
that
fire.
seems like the most common sense idea to do.
Ed will kind of like wave at the fire and say, "Dante, could you put that out, please?"
I don't really see a reason to put it out. Furthermore, I believe it's gone out of control at this point. I'm not entirely sure I have the power to put this one out.
Fair enough.
Start snuffing it out every 6 seconds.
Well, anyway, Ed will take a look towards Katrogrim and will say, my consolations for the loss of your companion.
Condolences.
Dante would go ahead and walk over and start putting the fire out. There might be an interest in studying the portal we just closed, if there's anything left of it.
Sure. At this point, the fire has absolutely spun out of control. It's engulfed the entire side of the barn, looking into the inside where there is hay bales, highly flammable. Go ahead and roll me an Arcana check to try and control the flame and douse it to the best of your abilities.
Hey, I'm not at disadvantage anymore. Wait, do I have a level of exhaustion?
Sure.
It's a question for you, my friend. I believe you do.
Yes, I do. Arcana check. Okay, yeah, it is disadvantage though. $19.
A 33 would have done it. 19, not so much. As you see Dante vigorously waving his arms back and forth, weaving signs, as you see the flames beginning to contort, compress, but you see him drag ever so slightly. His movements sluggish, not as refined as they might have otherwise been. As you see parts of the flame abated, while other parts have only grown much larger as they are beyond Dante's reach. As the Inferno is now much too hot to even come close to. You all take a few steps back as the barn in its totality begins to writhe in a massive inferno. The tiny black particulates in the air have, while not dispersing all at once, have slowly but steadily winked out of existence or settled on the ground as tiny bits of black powder that has evaporated slowly, much like the Shadow Ravens have.
Speaking of, you should probably check on Drebin.
Oh yeah. Dante will open his
Goodness.
bag very slowly.
Sure. Yes, the inside of your bag is absolutely just torn apart. If you had any scraps of paper, anything fragile, everything would have taken, I would say, about 8 damage.
Okay.
So, yeah. Magic scrolls definitely would have bit the dust. Any glass vials or anything you think is fragile enough to be broken by a bird in a frenzy, it probably broke.
Okay.
8 damage would have definitely broken a healing potion as well. Yeah.
Yeah, so you see kind of this red cherry liquid coating the inside of your backpack, which I've had happen with Benadryl. It is the worst thing ever. It's impossible to get out. Okay, so yeah, amidst all of the debris, however, you see a single beak, just like point up at you, slightly sheepishly, perhaps.
Oh,
You're lucky you weren't killed.
The rest of you here, Trogum is able to make this out in some kind of gutter language. Trogum you also understand. What does he say?
What does he say?
You lucky you weren't. He leaps up onto your shoulder, flaps his wings a couple of times. The silver bangles still dangling precariously from his taloned foot.
What language is it again?
Abyssal.
Oh, yeah, I remember now.
Well, it is agreeable that we both yet live.
You got that right. Seriously. I got like no memory. I remember there was this big flappy thing, you know, the big guys.
you know the big guys.
You know,
Obvious.
the big guys.
Yeah.
Indeed.
You know, Drubbin's a bird, so
My goodness.
We
Can you expound on this large flappy thing?
do you know Abyssal?
You don't know Abyssal.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, no, okay. Alas.
Wait, he said big flappy thing?
Big flappy
Mhm.
thing.
You know, the big guys. Is what
You
it
know,
said.
the big flappy things.
What exactly do you mean, Drubbin?
You know, he kind of spreads out his wings in a mockery. As you know, he tries to like kind of curl them back so that they're almost like
He's
on his
probably-
back, if that makes sense. He's making a vague mimicry in terms of his posture to the horrifying creature that had a scythe and was trying to kill you all.
It sounds like he's
Specifically
trying-
you.
It sounds like he's trying to mention the thing that we fought.
Have you encountered one of those before?
Well, maybe once or twice. It's been a really long time. You kind of see his eyes dilate a little bit and then shakes his head.
Huh.
Like, really long. You have no idea. Like, 6 of you put together. Going back in time.
That's really interesting. Too bad Ed can't ask more questions.
Interesting. How
I
are they
mean-
killed?
How are they killed?
I mean, out loud, Chargrim did mention, so you mean the thing that we fought whenever he was posing.
Yeah, well, Ed's just trying to pick up what he can from the conversation.
Well, he would hear that definitely, because
Okay.
Chargrim...
The rest of you see Jim striking like a weird pose. Yeah.
So, I guess Katrogrim will try and attempt to rack his brain for any possibility of knowing what this thing might have been, although this is not his area of expertise. even
Okay.
though he is proficient in religion.
How would you like to do so?
23 in religion.
23 in religion? Dude, yes. Okay.
He was waiting for this moment.
Okay. So, not quite high enough for all of the expose, but I'll tell
Uh-oh.
you what Katralgrim would know. Okay. So, Katralgrim,
Unfortunately,
You
one of the
have-
spellcasters didn't know.
you also have an understanding of a few of the more primal planes of the materia, right? Specifically a Shadowfell. A place associated with negative emotion. So, the Feywild is a place where positive emotions are born into the physical. Whimsy, cheer, protective natures, love. All of those things coalesce into the purest essence of that thing. Beauty is an example that Dante learned oh too dearly with the nymph. The same is true of the Shadowfell, but with negative emotions. Such creatures are a myriad in nature, but the chiefest among them are called the Sorrowsworn. Creatures born out of the most horrid, sad, anguished emotions imaginable. And I will list you off a few. 1 second. Oh, where you go? Hold on.
I gotta love how Austin's like, alright guys, I've had a very tough week, I'm tired. This might not be a very good session. And then he turns around and says, well, here's all about Sorrowsworn.
It's great. There's so much fun. Okay, I guess I'll just go check out Morning Cadence, huh?
Probably, yeah.
I'll go read the book really slow. I'll start from page 1.
Alright, well, I have work at 4 o'clock, so,
This just turns into a group book club.
Maybe Ed
I
can
had
help
Morning Canaans around here somewhere, so.
You should,
I'm-
you should hand the book to Ed. He'll help you. Yeah.
Did I say Morning Canaan?
You did say Morning Canaan.
I didn't say Morning Canaan. You're not allowed to go look.
Dang it. I mean, I've already read it, like, twice, so.
Why is it? Hold on.
There for a second, I thought he was about to say, "Why would you do that?" I'm just kidding.
Speaking of books,
Here we go. Okay.
you guys should really read the Incantations book.
Chiefest among them. The kind of the primal emotions. You know that there are one called the angry. They're kind of the primal essence of.
Angry.
They're all named after positions of wretchedness, of negative emotion. Anger is considered one of those. Angry, the hungry, the lonely, the lost, and the wretched. You know, vaguely at least, the wretched are among the weakest Sorrowsworn there are, and you know the creatures you fought just now are called the wretched. These creatures form a very loose hierarchy. Mostly they don't care about one another, they simply exist in their manifested forms in the Shadowfell. Sorrowsworn, however, mostly at least, serve the Raven Queen. And you know, chief among the Sorrowsworn is the last aspect, the aspect of apathy. There is little known about the apathetic. However, they are likened in some folklores to a grim reaper, a harbinger of death. Though vague in your interpretation, the only of the Sorrowsworn you know of that would match the description of what you just fought is an apathetic.
Katorgum nods.
Does Katrogum shares?
Katorgum, like, scratches his chin scales a bit. odd. He mumbles to himself. But it does make some sense.
Is he just talking to himself?
He's just talking to himself at the moment.
See control him over there mumbling to himself.
He's willing to share if someone asks, but he's not going to willingly share at the moment.
Ed probably still thinks you're having a conversation with Drebin.
Well, Grebin's not saying anything, so.
He just was. I don't know.
He's also probably not talking to himself in Abyssal.
Well, I can. I have, tongue of the sun and moon, so everyone knows what I'm saying, and I can know what everyone else is saying.
Can you flip that off?
Huh?
Can you turn that off?
No, it's just always on.
That has some fun applications for me personally. Continue.
Yeah, there you go.
It does say touch the key of other minds, so I imagine that's something you have to choose to do. Although it just says any creature can understand a language, can understand what you say, so...
And I understand all spoken languages. It doesn't say of people I'm talking to. It doesn't count for written languages, though.
Yeah,
Correct.
I just need to get 2 levels in Warlock, and we'll fix that.
Are you going to inquire?
Will you inquire?
Ed was trying to pay attention to the conversation that Katrogam was just having, so he will probably ask Katrogam to expound on the conversation he was just having, or what are you talking about? Something like
Well,
that.
Dante would also be part of that conversation with Drebin, but apparently, if Dante was speaking also in Abyssal, then Katrogam was the only one that they knew what was saying.
Yeah, Dante probably would have been replying in Abyssal.
I'm just saying that Ed would be inclined to ask Katrogam if you don't mind. Unless
Well-
Katrogam would not answer.
Well, it wasn't actually part of the conversation, but I had a thought. This thing
Kyle?
that we fought, yes?
Continue. It just seemed like
Sorry, I'm eating chicken minis at the same time.
Hey, DM. Dante
Yes!
has a vial of True Ice in his pack.
Yeah, I mean the true ice is I mean it's just scattered in there, but yeah, it's still true ice. It's kind of a fine crystalline patterning on the inside of your thing now.
So now
you know.
Dante's pack is a cooler.
Yes.
That's actually kind of neat.
The True Ice has now turned your pack into a solid frozen block.
Yeah, you actually see bits of the like the healing potion residue that connected with the true ice is kind of frozen over.
Yeah, there
Kinda
was also
this-
some
this-
Kruthik
this
saliva
little
in there
plastic.
still, and so it's all mixed together into one glorious
Oh, just
Oh.
Oh no.
hodgepodge.
Oh.
Well, you're even if you could somehow manage to piece your paperwork together, they're definitely covered in gunk now.
Mm-hmm.
They're probably. Oh man, that's nasty. Well, anyway, Katrogam was saying.
May I continue?
Yeah.
This thing that we fought, this Reaper-looking creature. The monks of the monastery told me of the plains parallel to this one. In an effort to warn me of their perils. And that thing was evil. And yet, it is something that is subservient to the Raven Queen herself. Which is strange in why it would be assaulting this contingent, considering its purpose, but also makes sense on why it was not able to do anything to Ina.
It also explains the ravens.
And the Ravens.
In
Ugh.
fact, the words that it was saying, it said something about cheaters, and I feel like I remember the phrase, "Why does she need him?" or something like that.
I recall this phrase as well.
Something to think on.
It was something called a sorrow sworn. Some kind of manifestation of negative energy, negative emotions.
As soon as Katrogrim says negative energy and emotions, Ed starts to scratch his own chin, but then his eyes lighten up and he turns to find where Ina is. What is her situation?
Yeah, you look to see Ina. Katrogrim almost had to practically drag her out of there. She's almost too weak to stand. You see her super pale, paler than usual, shaking. You see her veins bulging under her skin, as though all of her being has just sunken somehow. You even see her breath come out in kind of shaky wisps of air as it's quite chilly out.
May I attempt to carry her?
Sure.
Before you
what's your
attempt to carry
strength?
her, currently at a -2.
Oh,
Well, my
your
athletics
modifier.
is
What's
a
your score?
-2.
What's your score?
A 6 at the moment, but I can use my astral arms to use my wisdom instead.
Okay, if you're using what's your wisdom score?
My wisdom score is 16.
Okay, you can carry her if you wish. And Edric had something he wanted to say or do.
Ed would probably say we need to check on her physical well-being before carrying her anywhere.
Well, carrying her would assist in her physical well-being.
I mean, we need to actually check and make sure that there's not anything we can
Well,
infer her health.
I guess while you're doing that, I will run and check the carriage to see if that thing is still in there.
Oh, Ed is not good at medicine.
Drebin,
Katrogrim is good with medicine.
if you would stretch your wings once more, we may need help searching for survivors.
Would you rather me look after her physical well-being first, or double check to see if that thing is still here?
Ed will ask you to check her physical well-being first, and he will attempt to assist. I don't know how much it'll do, but
Well, I'm rolling it at +8, so because I don't have exhaustion.
Ed will attempt to assist, even though he's exhausted.
Austin, do I still get the advantage even though I'm getting assisted by within a exhausted man?
What?
And by now, the vampiric touch cast has worn off, so his arms actually go back to normal.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But I'm going to attempt a medicine check to look after Ina's well-being, and Edgark is attempting to assist, even if he is exhausted.
Okay, for sure. We'll say a fair few paces from the barn. You lay her down on a bit of relatively dry debris. Proceed to inspect her condition. Edgark leans over, kind of helps keep her steady as Katrogrim holds two fingers up and begins to check different kind of key points on her body to detect the energies and the degree to which she has been ailed. So yeah, go ahead and roll me the medicine check with advantage.
15.
15? Okay. So the first thing you notice is that there doesn't appear to be a fundamental cause for her condition. It's almost like you are... It's almost like you are performing a checkup on an extremely old and frail person whose general body has just given out over decades. It's like the very life essence of Ina has given way.
Which
You-
is very indicative of her previous usage of the orb, correct?
Yes. In the past, you've definitely known for her to be very pale and shaky and kind of ill constitutively after. She's usually okay after a rest or two, but you've never seen it this bad before. You see her eyes are sunken black bags under them as she looks at you weakly. That bad, huh?
Mm. You did well, though.
You see her smile like a very thin, kind of wan smile that's almost more reminiscent of a skeleton as she seemingly just passes out right then and there.
She's old. She's frail. She's taxed. It's the only way I can describe it.
In terms of game terms, you know her constitution score just dropped through the floor.
Oh yeah.
It's like, at this point, like a breeze could just sweep her away into dust and ashes.
She's pushed herself very far this time. It took a lot out of her to close it.
Does Dante still have some of that true sight going on?
Yes.
Yes.
There's a specific
it's-
note in the bottom right that says Dante has true sight for 1 hour.
I think, yeah, it's an hour. Okay, good.
Yep. Dante wants to go back to the contingency carriage and check it out. Make sure, the Saurus one's
X-ray vision, looking down, you see nothing of particular malice.
I don't
No
think-
sign of the strange winged creature.
Alright, it'll be safe for Ina to rest in here then, supposedly.
This
Somebody
is
should
a
stay
thick
with her.
metal carriage. I don't think you can actually look inside even with true sight.
Actually, there would be a portion of the carriage he could not look inside of. The portion with the chains.
That's a good point.
This is also true. I get the feeling that this thing actually went inside the carriage and is like screaming bloody murder because it accidentally touched the chains.
Well, it's not magical in nature, it's religious.
No, it is it is not of this plane, and thus
Who
is
knows?
using magic to be here.
Who knows? We don't know.
No one really knows the origin of lethality stone.
This is true.
This is true. Maybe it's
Except for Austin.
maybe it's actually a magic absorbing stone, and thus it's actually stuck inside the lethality stone.
You too can know the origin of lethality stone.
Oh, if only we had enough time and resources to study it, but
If only
Well-
you rolled like a check or something. Oh.
If only you rolled like a DC 50 Arcana check or something. I don't know.
Well, the origin of those chains not only came from the Feywilds holding down the blasted tree, but we already know about Ikerbu Sedakna.
Ikerbu
Ikerbu
Ikerdu, Sabakna?
Ikerdu
There.
Sedakna, yeah.
Ed will volunteer to watch Ina and rest while he's at it, and in his frustration, he will also begin casting a spell.
What are you gonna cast, buddy?
Actually, he's gonna.
What
Actually,
is
he's
he
gonna.
casting, Precious?
He's what? He's gonna cast 2 spells, one after the other. First one, Conjure Elemental, 8th level.
How long does
Gonna
that
conjure.
cast? How long does that take to cast?
That takes a minute. It takes a
Okay.
minute. And
Okay.
directly afterward, he will begin casting Planar Binding on the Earth Elemental at CR8 that he will be summoning.
Okay. After concluding Ina's checkup, you
This-
see Edgeark incanting.
This is your solution to the dead behemoth.
Well, this is a solution to the dead behemoth. You're correct.
Woohoo!
Did Drebin get Dante's comment about flying around looking for survivors?
No.
Oh.
Totally not. Totally. He should have though.
Dante asks Drebin to if he'll what was the right word? What was the same phrase? If he
he'll
will,
spread his
if he would
wings.
be willing to stretch his wings once more and search for survivors.
Let me persuasion check.
All right.
Hey, boss. Like, not saying it's like a bad idea, but last time I did this, I got like totally brainwashed. So, maybe I stay with you right now.
I just have this weird image popping into my head of him like kind of cuddling up to Dante's neck or something.
Probably.
Yeah, you
Dante,
you
what are
like.
you doing?
He's not like particularly physically affectionate, but you feel his talons tighten on your kind of the cloth on your hood.
All right, I'm sure with a 6 in persuasion that didn't work out.
Oh no, that's how he react.
Yeah. All right. Well, in that case, Dante would probably
Then
let's see.
scared. Or is he coming back now to relay the fact that the thing is not in there?
It's my water.
Are we all around the carriage right now?
We're currently all around Ina.
You're next to the barn. The carriage is like on the other side of that wall.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, Dante will return to the group, and then notice that Ed is casting something.
So I'm guessing that.
Walking
I'm
cast.
guessing-
Walking cast.
I'm guessing that. Well, I was thinking that Ed will start casting this once we've actually put Ina in a restful position in the carriage, and he'd start watching her and casting this. That's what I had in my head, at least.
Yeah,
Nothing
but
that is a lot.
yeah, the
Just
intention
careful
was
of the
Dante
lethality
goes
stuff.
back to the group and tells them that the carriage should be okay.
And then
Tucker will have
Kachara-
started clearing the wall.
Clearing the wall. What?
clearing the wall,
Yeah, Tucker's clearing the wall.
like destroying the wall.
The pile of junk.
Oh, separating you from the carriage.
Yeah.
Okay. You immediately note that this is a massive menial labor task. Would you like to be doing this the entire time the rest of everybody is doing the thing?
I mean, yeah, while Dante is checking the carriage over and
Okay.
people are talking to Drebin and so on.
Go ahead and roll me your first athletics check.
Well, I didn't take as much damage to my strength as Katrogrim did, but still.
Yes. Telkar bends to lift, and
Throws his back up.
like part of the method that you were taught as a child in the mines and in the stony mountains is to lift that boulder with your legs, son.
Lift it with your legs.
You bend down and grab it and use your back, and you just feel like you're lifting the weight of the world. And it just slips through your fingers. You
Brush
look up
onto
and
your
just see
toes.
this veritable insurmountable mountain of debris in front of you. I believe it was like 10 feet across, so like 15 feet high. Just building stuff.
At least 10 feet, because I had to hop up to get to the top of the roof.
Yeah. It's quite big. But if you wish, you can try to keep clearing. I'll let you roll one more check while we're waiting on everybody else.
Katrogrim, with his, cool ghost arms, does pick up Ina to ferry her over to the carriage while he's doing that.
Okay.
Are we
Yeah.
at the carriage, and is Telkar within sight of the carriage? Like, what's happening here? I've lost track of where everybody is.
Katrogrim definitely walks around.
Right now, everybody's near the barn except Dante.
Okay, so we're not at the carriage yet.
No, I'm about to
Ed-
pick up Ina.
Ed will walk over to Telkar and put his hand on his shoulder and say, "We need to rest for now. I think I will get us some help for this task."
Telkar will
Why are
nod.
we? Why are we trying to get the rubble
You've
out of the
already
way?
been casting Conjure Elemental, so why are you mentioning
No,
that
he
now?
we're
plans
not
on.
at the
He
we're
plans
not
on
at the
casting
wagon
it.
yet,
Yes.
apparently. So I have not casting yet.
He plans on casting it whenever Ina's in a safe spot so that he can watch
Mm-hmm.
her and also cast.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
What are we
DM, we would like to migrate to the carriage.
Okay, everybody
As a
else is
group.
migrating.
Why are we-
Dante,
why-
Dante is still there. Everybody else is following up. Katralum carrying Ina. Edgark, would you like to be summoning your elementals while this is happening? I got the impression that you are currently doing so.
Sure,
Um,
why not? I guess
okay.
we're doing it. Okay, that's fine. We're dead.
Ben, why
Uh,
are you trying to remove the debris again?
I believe Telkar is going there as well. Unless
I
he
figure
wishes
we're gonna
continue
want to
trying
drive
clear.
past it at some point.
We'd be better suited, especially since at least a couple of us lost some strength on that. Probably be better suited to just going around.
Well, I'm going with the group.
Okay. Yep, you guys arrive back at the carriage. Black little inky spots that are slowly evaporating that might have once been feathers that are just blasted through the air everywhere you look. Covered the carriage, the surrounding area. However, the vicious wound the behemoth sustained, as well as the brutal scorch marks that finished it off, just part burnt, charred skeleton on its right side. It's mangled kind of horribly in the restraints of the carriage, which the restraints themselves appear to be at least partially destroyed. The rope singed through, the leather thong kind of just roasted and charred and brittle. The side of the carriage itself, like, this thing has seen better days, but it's like surprisingly okay.
It's meant to survive like a boulder
Ye-
being tossed at it.
Yeah, you see just like this massive black scorch and like the barest hints of the wood maybe starting to come apart a little bit at the seams.
I thought this was a solid metal war wagon.
I believe it's wooden with a lot of metal banding. Like the top is metal to throw off oil and stuff like that.
Hmm.
So
Just
this-
because the solid metal carriage is really, really heavy.
yeah.
But yeah.
Which is why I figured we'd need the behemoth to drag it along.
Alas.
Yeah, you're all there. What do you do?
On the way inside the carriage, Katrogrim steps to the side of it and places his free hand onto the behemoth. Mumbles a apology for the horrors that it had to suffer, and
Sure thing.
wishing it a safe journey.
Okay. Your companion, as of many years, lays in a very disturbing kind of pose. Its neck broken from the brace that was trying to maintain it even as it burned alive. You take some solace from the fact that it did its job to the very end. And it tried its best. Yeah, absolutely. You say your words. You see, some that's draconic, as it's kind of between you and him. Edgark might have made out some of it, but yeah.
As a fellow lizard man, he would understand what was said.
Mm-hmm. Edric, behemoths are a...
Actually, everyone would understand what I'm saying anyway, so forgot about that for a second.
That's funny.
Edric, behemoths are pretty loyal, often like forming very strong bonds with their owners. So you can absolutely tell they've put some miles in together, and this is a big loss for them. But yeah, are you putting Ina inside the garage
Yes.
afterwards? Okay. Or I'm assuming before, since you needed a free hand.
No,
yeah.
I have 2 extra hands because I have the astral arms out at the moment.
Oh.
Which I'm using specifically using those to carry Ina. So
Are they not like overlapped over your arm? Or are they like two entirely separate appendages?
I mean,
Like,
the Tasha's Cauldron picture shows a Dragonborn with arms literally coming out of his shoulders.
So it's really just Machamp / JoJo's. Okay.
Right. It can be overlapped or it can be like extra pairs. Is like the flavor is malleable.
Okay. Well, it's whatever you want. I always pictured it was like an overlapping kind of spiritual form. But... Okay. Yeah. What are you guys doing? You're all near the carriage. You look inside the carriage. It's a little bit musty and ashy, but appears none the worse for wear, really.
All right.
Katargrim will look towards Telkar and he will say, "If you want something to do, please help me." As he walks back outside and starts trying to undo the clasp and whatnot on the behemoth.
Telkar will go help.
Especially since now I'm working with dead weight rather than something that's actively helping.
Absolutely. You're attempting to undo it. Do either of you have proficiency in leatherworking?
No.
Good question.
I have vehicle behemoth proficiency.
No. Tinker's tools. But that's...
Tinker's tools will be helpful.
Tinker's tools is nothing.
It's basically a question of whether I have you guys roll like a straight ability score modifier here or like a proficiency, since you have a relevant.
My tool proficiencies are Smith's, Tinker's, and Mason's tools.
Smith's, Tinker's. Okay.
A great
You could Tinker's has a variety of simple tools such as chisels and pliers, that kind of thing that could help you wrench it through without hopefully damaging it too much. So yeah, Telkar. Katrogrim, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. You want Telkar to take the lead here on this as he begins to pull out.
Yes.
A
As he
series of
pulls
tools.
out some tools, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so go ahead and roll me a... Say this is very brittle, fragile material at this point, so go ahead and roll me a dexterity Tinker's Tools check. With advantage because Katrogrim is helping you, trying to hold it steady.
At least it's not a strength.
29. Darn, I don't think that's gonna do it.
I don't think that'll do it.
No, I don't think so either. Yeah.
Yeah, the DC was 30. So you pull with surgical precision, begin to undo the knots. In places, the leather has almost like fused together, though it's still slightly smoldering and hot and therefore pliable, so you're able to just gently pull it apart. Some kind of like gooey tendrils bringing it together, part flesh, part liquefied leather.
Yummy.
And you proceed to undo the entire rest of the brace. It's now free. You
Austin, I'm
realize
eating breakfast.
you realize there is a fair bit of salvageable material here. However, most of the harness on the right-hand side of the behemoth will need to be entirely reworked. It might take an hour.
Cool. Sounds like a task for crafty guy.
Okay.
Sounds like a task for mending.
That too. I feel like I just assumed that Telkar makes liberal use of mending while he's crafting. Because why wouldn't you lace in this cantrip? Whoops, cut that a bit too far.
So, especially with your 29, you think that it can be helpful here, especially on like the bits on the left side, but a lot of it on the right side, like totally disintegrated. Like it's just gone. Like there's nothing to mend.
Awesome.
So you're
As
gonna
opposed to decimated?
So you're going to have to try and figure out some kind of new deal here.
Wait,
which is what
did
takes an hour.
Donnie accidentally decimate the carriage?
I don't think the carriage was decimated. Like
No, the carriage wasn't touched by the radius of the fireball. Only the corner of the behemoth was touched.
I don't think the carriage was like censurated or anything. It was fine. Okay. Well, what are you guys doing?
And
Choices.
then
Bring it on.
whenever they're done with this, Katrogrim will look back to the Grim and he asks, "Does anyone have a shovel?"
Alternately, the move Earth cantrip.
That would be probably superiorly helpful.
Presumably, at least approximately a minute has passed, so you'll probably see Ed finishing his summoning of the Earth Elemental, the largest creature he has been able to conjure so far. You see this look of frustrated determination on his face as he finishes the spell, and out of the earth grows this rather humongous stone being.
It's actually humongous. It's a huge creature.
Yes.
Which is a 3x3.
It's 3x3.
Yeah.
Seeing this, Telkar
This thing is massive.
Telkar will remark dryly to Katrogrim, "I think once Ed is done binding that thing, it can probably dig a grave for you."
Ed was about to say, "I don't think a shovel will be necessary. We'll be sure to give your companion a proper burial."
But isn't a shovel
Standing probably
necessary for
15, 20
proper-
feet tall, you see bits of rubble and debris forming up in the middle of this arcane summoning circle as it slowly roils and compresses and gets bigger and bigger and bigger as each part kind of forms into like a vaguely humanoid shaped piece, like an arm and a leg, a chest part. You see arcane glyphs beginning to glow on pieces of the seemingly random bits of debris that were present as it grows and grows and grows until it towers over everybody next to it. It's so massive, it might have a little bit of trouble getting back through the gap you guys came through.
Telkar is grinning like a madman, and he'll say, "I suppose it's not too much trouble that the harnesses were broken, because we're gonna have to redesign them anyways."
As soon as summoning is completed, of course, Ed will immediately need to begin the binding in order to be able to complete it within the hour. Oh, Ed begins binding.
Okay, how long does that take?
An hour.
A full hour?
Yes.
Okay, when it's done, what happens?
The creature is now, since I will be casting it at 5th level, the creature will be within my service without the need for my concentration for, I believe it's 24 hours. I will double check.
Okay,
Yes, 24 hours.
And it has nothing to do with the creature's CR, right?
Correct.
That's awesome. Okay.
You said this is Conjure Elemental, right?
Can you rebind it at hour 23?
Yeah, I can, and that might be part of the plan. Actually, I can upcast Planar Binding to get 10 days at 6th level, 30 days at 7th level, 180 days at 8th level.
Wow.
And eventually, when I have a 9th level spot, I can get a year and a day.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. That's sick.
That is fantastic.
Yeah,
So you can just leave elementals guarding certain areas.
Telkar will be spending that hour doing his best to repair the harnesses in such a way that they will fit on
There's more to
this
town
Earth
to
elemental.
explore.
So this is why you run into elementals every now and then guarding stuff.
Because they can just last.
Wizard.
They last a long time at high levels. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And there's ways
Well, and
you
if
can
you have
make their binding more or less permanent as long as the conduit, focusing their sustenance basically, is still around.
I would be unsurprised if planar binding were the kind of spell like I can't think of any of the spells that are like this suddenly, but there are all those spells that if you cast them every day for a year, they're permanent.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like
Stuff like the
Yeah,
Impenetrable
castle.
Fortress.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would not be shocked if it might not be written, but I wouldn't be surprised if NPC wizards could do something like that with planar binding.
Well, Telkar, if you can stay here and watch the carriage and Edgearch, I may enlist Katralgrim to assist me with searching this village.
Helgar will turn to Katralgrim and say, "I'll take good care of your friend."
Katralgrim will nod.
And then while, for the hour that Edgearch spends casting this, we're basically just going to search the village for survivors, really anything of interest. I highly doubt we'll find anything connected to the Reaper Kings here, but, you know, anything that could be of interest. If there was perhaps a general store, we might look through that to see if there's anything of note in it, that kind of thing.
Sure. Yes. You look around, and now that you have time to really observe, you find what Katron was telling you to be quite true. The town square, which is where all the corpses were, appeared to have been walled in with fire. And Dante, you know almost immediately the telltale signs of a wall of flame.
Mm-hmm.
The last time you saw the spell used, not barring the time you just used it in this encounter, which is,
Yeah.
by the way, like shockingly close to the imprint that this makes, except yours is kind of like blue, ashy remains in the earth.
Huh.
You see, you saw it at the cathedral, like the wall of flame, like was the last thing you saw as your consciousness winked out of existence, was a wall of flame just appearing on the side of the Enclave Tower.
That's right, yeah.
Aside from that, almost all of the buildings are just incinerated. The telltale markings of fireballs on all of the major establishments, usually 1 to 2 per. Trying to think of any place that might have survived. You notice several, like, one of the only remaining, like, structures that kind of rise up out of the ashes are fireplaces, as is made of stone. You see kind of a stone hovel, might have been like a work shed. And you see, like, cobblestone walls that might have been, like, for privacy around some of the larger houses and almost like manor-type town halls. But, now let's make some kind of check. It's really difficult to tell what might have been what. It's all just dust and ashes now.
Gotcha. Out of curiosity, based on so you know how fireball has to be cast at a spot you can see, right?
Yeah.
Based on the, relative center points of each fireball, can Dante tell whether or not these fireballs seem to have been cast at multiple angles or just one?
You asked this question either last session or session before last. You determined, I believe with an investigation check or something like that, that these fireballs appear to have been cast from an aerial angle. All of them.
Right, but... okay, so straight down.
Not straight down, and it's difficult to tell, like, what angle, whether it was, like, straight down or like, slightly from the side. It was from an aerial angle, and you could tell the roofs burned first.
Alright. But, in any case, it seems as if it's very possible that the same fiend that killed Draji did this. Well, I guess you can't comment on that, but Dante, I don't know if Dante could roll an Arcana check to see that, but
Yeah, I can't tell you that.
it's indeed possible, I guess.
I mean, like...
Given the
Dante's-
Pegasus Knight we saw, I'd say it's pretty probable.
Yeah.
You know that there's a dead Pegasus in the disembodied
There is.
member
There is.
over there.
Yeah, we were getting.
That
to
is one. That is one thing you would have seen, and you didn't. You don't see any more of those. You only see the one in the middle.
Austin, would it be okay if we could see the map that we were playing on last time and see the area around?
Sure.
that area?
I'm not maintaining it in any fashion, so it's going
Right,
to be
I've-
exactly the way it was before. But this is just
Yeah.
a very vague, kind of visual for you.
Appreciate it.
And I'll just.
You
I'll
don't need
just-
to. You don't need to add new stuff or update it
I'll
or
just
anything.
reveal
I
the
just
whole
kind of
thing.
wanna-
Yeah.
He's just revealing it for us.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Cool.
Yeah, we would probably take some time to search the Pegasus Knight. What's left of them?
Sure. Almost all the belongings that would have been located on a nice military-style satchel located on the rear of the Pegasus has been burnt to ash. The only thing that really remains besides like the corpses is the individual's armor, which is extremely burnt. Obviously, he kind of like boiled alive in his armor, as it's the only thing remotely still intact, and you can see like parts where it's like fused to the flesh. It's absolutely charred. You know if it's magical or not. Magical armor tends to shrug off that kind of damage pretty easily. It's usually pretty obvious in these kind of situations if it's magical or not. You vaguely make out some heraldry that was carved into the armor, but of course any banners or anything would have seared off.
Right.
Yeah, like nothing of value unless you want like a horribly scorched pike
Huh.
and like a short sword.
Yeah, the signet ring.
Does he have a signet ring? Sure. Roll. I don't know if you'd have to roll for this. You see a vague-looking bump on the corpse's ring finger. It's super charred and difficult to make out, and it's like fused to the finger, but it might have been a ring of some kind. You can't tell.
Yeah, Dante would be interested in removing the gauntlet there. Trying to
The
take a look
ring?
at the ring.
Hmm.
He'd carefully touch it, like to make sure it wasn't already like still very.
Sure,
very hot.
You suddenly see the Eye of Sauron flash in your mind.
Sure, you touch it. It feels vaguely rounded, not hot anymore. And you kind of feel the ash rubbing up on your fingers as you touch it. Yeah. What do you want to take? Try to take it off?
Yeah.
You hear this. Roll me an athletics check.
Dante, what are you doing?
Dante's rolling athletics. You know that can't be a good sign.
Never a good sign.
12.
12. Yeah, you pull a little bit harder, try to get it off, as the entire finger just. You're holding this just horribly blackened, charred ring finger with a bump on it. It might be a ring.
All right, Dante will put that.
All right, that's good enough for me.
Dante will wrap that in. I don't know if there's any cloth hanging around anywhere, but he'll kind of hold it for a while, and bring it back. But then he and Katralgrim will go ahead and search the rest of the village for anything of any note.
Oh yeah, I mean
for the rest of the hour.
best. The only thing you find of remote value is like some pots and pans that would have been used for cooking in
Yes.
like a couple of the fireplaces. We'll say those are cooking utensils if you want to take them. What's that?
Austin. With his true seeing, would he be able to see anything extra?
No, nothing inherently magical about Krygus Barman. You don't really make out any super secret basements or anything. It's just a little farm town.
Oh,
that got
There's
nuked.
nothing special about Christmas morning.
There's
What?
not anything special about Christmas morning.
Bah humbug.
DM, one thing Dante would definitely make sure to do is the pile of bodies here. Who put that? Like Dante would like to like examine footprints and everything around this and try and figure out who put this pile together.
Okay. Roll me either an investigation or a survival check.
Okay. Dante will choose investigation, and he would call to Katralgrim and ask him for assistance.
What is it?
I'm trying to ascertain who would have been alive to compile these bodies.
Katrargan will nod. He will assist.
Alright, so Dante's currently at disadvantage. Does that bump him up to normal, or what does that do?
I mean, unless you'd rather Katrargan roll survival.
No, Dante would prefer to roll an investigation.
You initiate it, so. Yeah, go ahead and roll just a straight check, since you have a point of exhaustion.
A point of exhaustion.
Did it go through?
No,
There we go.
there it is. 26. Great. Dante, Katrargan, you bend over in the ashes. The horrible, rancid, overpowering smell of burnt hair and skin filling your nostrils, making you woozy.
Katrargan naturally will have like a hand up to his nose because that's some rank stuff right there.
As you look around, these bodies were definitely placed with intent. They didn't just pile up like this somehow. As you gaze into the mud, it having seemingly pretty recently rained through here, you see what appears to be a pair of wheel tracks running divots through the mud through the village from the north. They returned, making kind of a U-turn, as they appear to have stopped in the mud, digging deeper and deeper divots, as seemingly some greater and greater weight was placed upon it. As it wheeled around, the same deep tracks being dug, it goes off north of the village.
Okay. Dante would like to inspect the bodies for
For tempering,
a particularly like well put together corpse, like one that not missing a lot of arms, not missing a lot of legs, one that seems to be pretty, a likely candidate.
and he can't speak with dead.
Do you?
No.
you just
Dante doesn't
you're
know
just looking?
Dead.
Okay.
He's just looking for a body like that. Okay.
Okay. Roll me another investigation check.
Dante, what are you doing this time? Why are you despoiling the dead in such a
Just so you know, like, this is a thick pile of bodies. Like,
With
do you want to
at
start
least-
digging through, or are you just
at
looking
least
around, like, the
3
surface
Cs.
area?
No, he would look on top. He would look towards the top. Towards the top.
Okay, towards the top.
This is
Oh,
thick.
nat fail.
So,
I should have had Katralgrim help me.
Well, you're just as I said, you're despoiling the dead. This is kind of
okay.
not very good.
It's a critical failure, but it's a 16. You look around. You see Dante falter a little bit as he slips on one of the corpses. He is attempting to mount the hill, at least partially, to get a look at the top. As Dante, you look, and you think there does appear to be a greater concentration, you can use this word loosely, of more or less intact bodies closer to the top. The ones towards the bottom of the corpse pile appear to be by far the most burnt and mangled of them.
Got it. Okay. Okay. Dante would open his pack and start rummaging through it real quickly, and he would search for
Plus
something.
15. My goodness.
Wait, does he need to roll a d4?
No, that's just on saves.
Oh,
On attacks.
The
and saves.
attacks. It's attacking saves. Yeah.
gotcha.
You still add a little bit of oomph to combat.
Dante is going to take
If it's still
the
attacked, that is.
blue eye seal from Vecna.
What is that?
It's on white parchment, so it's a wax seal. Drebin might have.
Torn to ribbons, sir.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Blue eye seal's gone as well. All right. We can't get rid of the hegemon seal or the.
I love how
seal
many
or-
of your resources were destructible.
Yep.
That look
It's
of
definitely
malice
it's definitely
on
That
your
joke-
painful.
face.
That shows you for being a wizard.
If only you were a walking armory like Telkar. Drebin would have killed himself while he was in your backpack.
Okay, this will work.
Shoot. I'm glad I was taking on to most of our scrolls.
Okay.
The Scroll of Ashcat. Torn to smithereens.
Yeah,
You
it's
will never,
gone.
ever find out what it does.
I'm
Never.
gonna have to ask you questions later, DM,
We
about
got
some of this.
we got that in like session 4,
Yeah.
and he never used it.
Nope. That's how I am, though. I don't use
Conservative.
consumables enough.
You're conservative, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm the guy who towards the end of Skyrim has so many potions cluttering his inventory that
Mhm.
like he
Same.
he has to get rid of them all because it's actually weighing him down.
Yeah, he can't pick up the mission critical item because he's got too many potions.
He's got like 18 too many potions.
Okay, but anyway, Dante's
that's why you
looking
get
in
the
his
state stone.
inventory for something. Huh. Dante's going to look at the ring that he's holding with the severed finger,
Mm-hmm.
The mangled hunk of metal.
and he's going to think to himself for a minute. This is the Pegasus Rider's ring, and then he's going to put it in the pocket of the body,
Which one?
the one that he was looking at.
Like one of the fresh ones or one of the mangled ones?
One of the fresh ones. One of the ones
Sure,
towards the top that
um,
look more intact.
Okay, you'll need to roll me an acrobatics check to get up there. Because you were just looking at this point.
If it's an acrobatics check, Dante would ask Katralgrim to do it.
Oh,
Katralgrim,
dear.
I wish to put this severed finger into the pocket of that body.
Katrokram raises a bony eyebrow.
Dante just looks back at him and blinks.
Are you going to say anything, you two?
That's a
Blasphemy!
that's a very odd request.
It's completely
You
logical.
have the best relationship.
Don't you see the tracks? Somebody is carrying these corpses off to a destination.
Or they carried them here.
Dante,
You're right. The village was empty when it was burned down. Someone
was.
shipped in corpses to make it look like a tragedy.
The
it
entire
was
town is an illusion!
the DM
Brace for
putting
impact!
it was the DM putting the whole scene together.
It's me working tirelessly
Don't
all
mind
night.
those
trying to
art
get
There we
dragons.
They're
There's the
scapegoat.
last body that needed. That was
Oh
needed.
wow. Anyway,
We all knew Austin was the Reaper King the entire time.
Austin was the Reaper King the entire time.
You are the
So if
banana
I don't
king,
revive,
Kylie.
it's his fault.
yeah.
Maybe.
so- So,
Maybe in reality, Austin was the bandits.
so,
I am the bit.
um,
What? Say
yeah.
something.
Yeah, so Katrogam, are you gonna go ahead and put it in there?
Why the severed finger into a pocket of a dead body?
It is possible that somebody with an interest in corpses is collecting these.
And
And if there's an item of which I know in the pocket of one of these corpses, then perhaps we can track it to its source.
you're certain of this?
You should pick an item that Edric knows. Then you could. Oh wait, no, that's not how that works.
Yeah, go with the
Magic
2 degrees of
army.
separation.
Quickly, Katrogam.
There's no time to waste. Plant
Hey.
this bony finger in somebody's pocket.
I'm. Are we sure that? Katrogam is
This
just.
is like at least mildly offensive to your religion.
Oh yeah, I know. This is.
You could
This
at
is
least do a little
horrid.
bit better explaining Dante, heathen man.
You're.
Hey, for Dante, he's doing pretty good for the moment.
Well, I know, but
Actually-
he's dealt with religious people before. He should know how heinous this is.
What a marvelous necromancer he would make. I regret you
No.
not being a lich.
Katrogam, if the finger is
Yet.
not perhaps the best for you,
Yes.
how about this? And Dante will kind of, with his other hand, reach into his bag and pull out the Leandra half-orc coin.
Oh,
Why am I putting something onto a body that's not religiously significant anyway?
That's not religiously what?
Significant.
Dante starts rummaging through his bag for something religiously significant.
Dante doesn't have anything religious.
Oh, this sigil of Pelor! Quickly! He was a devout believer!
Quickly,
Put it in his pocket!
this Florian sigil.
Oh,
my
mercy.
goodness.
Okay, Dante's gonna try and do it himself.
Acrobatic check.
I mean, he will be trying to put the Leandra half-orc coin in there, and he'll put the finger on the floor, on the ground, before he tries this, so he's not like using up a whole hand.
Putting the finger on the floor. Outside.
All right.
He puts the finger down so that he's not using a whole hand.
Dante
Exactly.
is just losing
Just
all
need you
sorts
to
of
process what you just
you
said
caught it
there.
too. You caught it too. Yeah, that's funny.
Okay, it's going to be an acrobatics check, correct?
Yes.
Acrobatics.
At disadvantage. All right, here we
Yes.
go.
Oh.
Let's
Please
go.
kill yourself.
No.
14.
14?
Ah, dang.
Yeah, you mount the corpse pile enough that you're able to get enough leverage. You think you could probably slip something into one of the pockets up there on the top. It's not actually the one you were looking at. It is a different one, but it is still kind of relatively fresh.
Gotta love Austin's absolutely dejected sound of Dr.
Yeah.
I mean, I was hoping he would fall over and like spear himself on one of the pieces of shrapnel. Anyways,
Yep. Dante, yeah, Dante will go ahead and put it in that one's pocket.
great. You have to kind of part the like almost like fused like sackcloth skin cauterization hybrid that you think might have at one time been a pocket. You kind of stick it in there, and like you can just barely see like the tip of the fingernail just kind of barely hanging out of the pocket.
He's using the coin.
Oh, coin.
Yeah, Leandra half-orc
Not-
coin. Yeah.
Oh, right in there. Yep.
Yep.
No
All right.
one the wiser. Just the tiniest bulge.
I am the wiser, and it's still horrid.
Okay. So, yeah, then Dante will dismount, and then he's going to inspect our own footprints. Being Dragonborn, does Katrogrim have some interesting footprints?
Yes, he's
Especially
barefoot.
since he's not wearing shoes. He's wearing foot wraps, so his whole
And
foot
I don't
is
know.
there.
I don't know if Edgar wears shoes either.
Edgark, do you wear shoes?
No, he has well, technically he has sandals kind of thing going on.
He has essentially the same thing as Katralgrim, except for he has like a solid
Heart
piece of
souls.
something underneath it. Yeah.
Yeah. Same thing.
Sure. Yeah. You see, dragons. Dragons have 5. Yeah, they have 5 digits.
I'd
Yeah.
expect they'd only have like 3 or 4 toes, though.
So essentially, Dante's just going to try and
Dragons have 5 digits on all legs. What's up?
Dante's going to try and cover up any. He's not going to try because this can go really badly. Essentially, he's going to try and diminish the presence of footprints made by
Okay.
himself and Katralgrim in approaching this corpse pile.
Great. Roll your choice of deception or nature.
And yeah, Dante would definitely enlist the assistance of Katralgrim if he is willing to help.
Okay.
So
Just
this makes
Meanwhile-
more sense.
What is Telkar and Jarkark doing?
just a question of interest. Would you in a future time would you allow survival for a survival roll for such a thing?
I have to think about it.
Oh,
I was
no,
thinking-
he doesn't think.
Well,
Nature is more along the lines of
I
trying to
might
understand.
I might do survival
the
instead
state
of
of
nature. I would still definitely keep the deception there as an
Yeah.
option.
That definitely makes sense.
So if you want to
I've
roll survival
just-
here, you could.
Just out of interest.
Telkar, are you
Um,
working on a new thingy for the Earth Elemental? Is that a
Yep,
thing you're
new
doing?
thingy. New
New
harness.
thingy? Okay, this is taking place over the next hour. So
Even though
go
it really
ahead.
doesn't need it.
Go ahead and roll me a new Tinker's Tools check.
I thought you were going to
And
say a new
we'll-
thingy check.
We'll say in what is animal handling? Animal handling is wisdom.
Oh, hell, it gets wisdom, yes.
Roll me a wisdom Tinker's check.
Interesting. 21.
Nice.
You dig considerably into the supplies you brought with you in the carriage from Leandra to make a leather thong large enough to have the Earth Elemental pull the carriage. You don't think you'll be able to complete a project this size again until you get some kind of resupply. But you see Telkar frequently going from carriage to kind of the front of the carriage where the two spokes sit, as he's like jots something down, goes inside, pulls out a box of leather working supplies, goes back in. As you gradually just see this variable lattice work of leather ties and knots kind of coming together, all patchwork, nothing really like you could do so much better in a workshop, but this is the best you have. As the Earth Elemental just kind of stands there idly, as you have to like get him to oblige you as you step up onto like one of his shins to try and get a better idea of like where any kind of knot would tie in, and
Your boot sinks in
The-
about half an inch into the creature.
you immediately give up on the idea of any kind of reins. There's just no way anything would be able to get that high with the materials you have.
Assuming Ed has total control of the creature, so
Right.
a physical indication of direction is unnecessary.
So yeah, so basically all you end up doing is kind of forming this very simple kind of wraparound that will kind of stay belted around the Earth Elemental. I would say around low waist. It's about as high as you can reach easily.
I've got this
Uh,
vibe of like a backpack, like a backpacking backpack frame where it's got like shoulder straps and a belt strap, and then it just like all comes down to a couple of ropes that tie into the carriage.
Yeah, like when you're done with it, it looks like it has like parachute straps coming off of its waist, and the carriage is its parachute on the ground. But yeah, so that was what you were doing, and then Edgark the whole while just like standing in front of the Earth Elemental. He has like this little arcane sigil. Like, okay, look to your left. That's good. Look to your right. All right, halfway there. Would you like to invert your controls? No. All right.
All right, now look up.
As
Now look
the
down. Alrighty,
as-
I'm gonna do this again. Look up. Look
as
down.
you have
Would you like to keep the inverted
thoroughly
controls?
planted the Earth Elemental on this plane of existence, as you establish more thoroughly its kind of material grounding. Okay, that's the events for the entire hour. Everybody reconvenes. Dante, Edric having done their thing. I'm going to assume, actually, if you guys want to roleplay it, that you inform them of what you discovered regarding the tracks.
Oh, hey, we discovered tracks.
Yeah, we would inform them, but Dante's suggestion here, I would suggest that as quickly as we can, we should move to the south and then circle around the village.
An interesting course of action.
This is to dissuade anybody coming into the village. It's best for us if they believe that we were never here. Or at least they don't realize that somebody is looking for them. If these are the people we believe them to be.
That is, if desecrations of bodies doesn't get us thrown out first. He sort of shoots a glance over at Dante.
So, hold on. Can you say that again, Cal? Sorry, I couldn't hear you quite as well.
I said, that is, if desecration of bodies doesn't get us thrown out first.
I take it Dante is thinking he might have found our necromancers, and Katrogrim is thinking that these are just people trying to bury their dead.
Either way, it may be a lead.
It was
We
so
don't have many-
hilariously ill explained that I'm so thankful for you, Ben. Okay,
Thank you, Ben.
Yeah.
what are you
that-
doing? Earth Elemental's ready to go.
Excellent.
You tug the reins taut. It's going to be a little tough maneuvering your way out of the fairly compressed, tight spaces between burnt houses, but you can do your best, Katrogrim. I'm assuming Katrogrim is taking the reins, or would Edric like to?
I
Ed-
think there
Ed
are no
will-
reins.
Ed will be- yeah, there's that.
Well, you have a
Ed-
little. You have a little comfort leather that doesn't really do anything.
Yeah, Telkar took what used to be the reins and nailed them to the front of the carriage so that
Basically,
Katrogrim
yeah.
can hold them.
That is, if Katrogrim even is the one holding them now.
Ed will probably take up the position for directing the elemental. He will give him the standard set of after the binding. He'll give him the standard set of instructions that he gives to his minions. First and foremost, protect Ina. Secondly, protect everyone in the party. Any directions that are given to him or it. Any directions that are given to it by anyone in the party supersede these previous directions. And that's and for now, we are going to attempt to maneuver this carriage gingerly.
Are we not gonna
Gingerly.
do the one thing that Katrogrim would like to do before we leave?
We're going to. What I was going to say is we're going to gingerly attempt to maneuver the carriage out the gateway and out of the way of the village. And then Ed was going to suggest that we dig a grave for the behemoth directly outside of the gates. If that would be acceptable to Katrogrim.
It should be, yeah.
Alright. That is what he will suggest that we do, and he will set the Earth Elemental to digging out we probably need to be about an 8-foot deep,
Probably more than that.
10 by... probably 8 foot deep, 10 by 10... Okay, maybe like 10 by 10 by 10 hole. That'd probably suffice.
Dante would, at the suggestion of this, Dante would, open his mouth and raise his finger, and then just hesitate, and then not say anything.
Alright.
Okay.
Yes, we proceed with the Earth Elemental after having been unstrapped from the carriage. Digging
Dude, it's like a process. Like this isn't like a clasp unclasp. Like, is
Yeah.
he tied up or not?
Uh,
Because if you are leaving like the south side of the village, it's gonna take like a good 10-15 minutes to get him untied.
I guess that's what we do then, because we can't really have him digging while still tied to the carriage. Maybe we could attempt to have him just pull the carriage out of the village instead of
Say,
strapping him
Telkar
entirely
will have
in.
done his best to make it as easy as possible to strap or unstrap the elemental.
After all, he'll probably be needed for combat at some point.
Necessary.
Can we make a check for that as well, DM? How well he was able to make it easy.
A check for that was made, and
Okay,
it was not
yeah.
enough.
Oh, all right.
Given what you had, no leather workers' tools, you did as best as you could.
Understood. Well, in that case, we do have to unhook him in order to get him to dig.
Okay.
We will do so.
I will say, like, there's enough slack because, like, this thing kicks up, like, a lot of stuff when it moves. So, like, it might be enough to, like, just let it be in front of the carriage and it can sort of kind of do stuff with its arms and try to dig, but it's up to you whether you want to totally unstrap it.
It would still seem wise to me. Do not want anything to happen to the wagon while the creature is digging itself into a... Or, well, maybe not digging itself... Hopefully not digging itself into a 10-foot hole, but, you get the
Wouldn't
idea.
fit in a 10-foot hole.
That's true.
Sure. You take about 12 minutes or so, Telkar. Whoever else wishes to help, just kind of untwining everything. He's like, okay, A point goes to A point. AB, you kind of take a little bit of charcoal and like mark on the earth elemental where this particular bit of twine goes. It's just meshwork of stuff supporting each other. It slowly comes undone. You lay it in like a nice bundle in front of the carriage. As their earth elemental looks at Edgark, Edgark just says, "Oh yeah, we need like a 10-foot diameter hole to fit that corpse." And referencing, of course, the corpse you've seen already. You didn't bring the corpse with you, by the way, unless you guys stated otherwise.
Not yet. The Earth Elemental will probably have to carry that as well.
Sure. The Earth Elemental takes one massive arm and just
Scooped up.
and it's done in like 6 seconds.
Nice. Okay, well, I didn't think it'd be that easy, but alright. We'll take it. Alright, then we'll have the Earth Elemental come and, as instructed, gingerly move the corpse to the hole and place it in. And Ed will be very specific to tell it to do so gingerly.
Okay, so you're instructing it to go get the corpse and bring it back?
Yeah, he'll probably walk with it.
Okay.
I mean, you'd have to run to keep up, so.
Telkar will use whatever time this takes to use some of his spare metal to start crafting some clasps to replace some of the knots on this harness.
Okay.
Very smart.
Roll me Tinker's Tools.
This would be metalworking tools, right?
This would be metalworking. You're gonna roll me metalworking with
Smith tools.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey, you should get Dante's
That's cool.
assistance because fire.
What attribute?
Wisdom.
Wisdom.
You're making a harness for an animal that is pulling a thing. Not
Only
exactly an
14.
animal, but 14. Especially given the time you have, not great. Edgark, unless you're instructing the thing to slow down.
I'm not.
soon as-
I'm not like putting it on the elemental as we speak. I'm just thinking there are places where we tied leather and rope around this thing, and Telkar can start crafting like buckles
Sure.
that can replace the knots eventually.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you start workshopping an idea here. Yeah. You look in and you see a number of belt buckles. Like just like basic stuff that is used to hold up your equipment and that of others. You even see one with like a little Dawnfield seal on it that might have one time been an accoutrement on one of Draji's things. Yeah, you begin considering how you might retrofit these to help fit some of these more taut leather bits. Yeah, nothing really right now, but that's absolutely something that will be in the workshop for you. Edric, are you instructing the thing to move slower for you? Otherwise, it's gonna be, it just, as soon as it's off the leash, it just goes like into an avalanche of stuff that just rolls uphill.
Man, like, what is this thing's movement speed, Austin?
A lot.
It's 30, but because it's no longer bound to the carriage, it wants to move the way Earth Elementals like to move, which is Earth move. It's called.
Oh, of course. He's not going to be too worried about it, but the instruction to move the body back gingerly definitely would definitely involve not Earth moving. But yeah, no, he's not worried about it moving quickly.
Not worried about it? Okay, yeah. It quickly leaves you in the dust. You just hear this kind of vague thunderous sound in the distance. Rolling back towards the town. Outside, like a minute goes by, and then you hear it moving back this way. You hear stomping this time. As you see, like in one, almost like cradled in its arms. You see kind of the burnt, decrepit corpse of the behemoth. Rest in peace. As it kind of lightly jogs back down the road towards you. A few moments pass. It's right there in front of the grave. What are the rest of you doing? Everybody like there watching the proceedings, or what?
Dante's keeping his eye on the surroundings, but basically
Sure,
just doing
only
everything he
perception
can to help.
Everybody else watching the proceedings. Ina still unconscious. You can just place her in the cart and walk out. Do you give the Earth Elemental the leave to lower it into the grave? Or would you guys like to do that yourself?
Ed would probably be inclined to let it lower into the grave unless Katrogam says otherwise.
Well, I mean, this behemoth is not exactly light, so
Right.
Katrogram, begrudgingly, without a full entourage to do the proceedings, will allow the behemoth the thing to do so.
Sure. It's not particularly elegant. Earth Elemental, like, even though you said be gentle with the corpse, Earth Elementals, they're not gentle. They're like walking mountains. So you like see it like make like a motion like, and you just hear this dull crunching as the behemoth just rolls into the grave. It's quite deep. It's like
winces.
It's like 11 feet deep, like way more than 6. It's a small little open pit mine, I guess. And you just see massive little hills of earth and dirt and rock on the side where the trench was dug.
Ed winces apologetically towards Katrogam and then clears his throat and says, "Would you like to say a few words? Or perhaps a prayer?"
Katrogam takes a deep breath, lets it out, and then he steps up to the side of the grave and says a few words. He already said his words earlier, but he's gonna just say a couple more as an apology for the terror and the tragedy that had befallen it, and a thank you, a final farewell for his service, his duty, and his.
Sure. Katrogam, why don't you roll me just a religion check? As you hold a very simple, primitive service like one might for a pet, though there is a certain degree more intimacy to this one, definitely more heartfelt, or more of a fallen comrade in arms.
22 on the religion.
22? Absolutely. Katrograms, are you speaking in Common or Draconic? Is it more for yourself or for others?
It doesn't really matter, considering everyone understands what I'm saying anyway.
Does everybody understand Draconic? Oh, language.
Because I'm a monk.
Yeah, speakers. Yeah, I gotcha. Okay.
You said you were gonna have some fun with this, and now you're not having fun with it.
I'm gonna have fun with it later. No worries. Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah, everybody understands Drogrum.
It will innately be in Draconic because this is more for himself anyway.
Sure.
But the other people will still be able to understand what he's saying.
Yeah. Absolutely. His words ring simple and true. You feel a degree more at peace, Katralgrim. It wasn't a peaceful way to go, but perhaps you have somehow put his spirit more at rest. If Hemoths have spirits that journey beyond the Primaterium or are simply recycled like so many animals are. It's a Draconoid. It's a proud creature of higher design. You like to think that wherever this creature is going is a place better than here, and the fate this world is currently set upon. The words conclude. What do? Do you fill it in?
He'll probably indicate towards the Earth Elemental. Well, he will. Before he does that, he would ask if anyone else has any words.
Okay.
If no one speaks up, then Edgearch will probably say, the words from your heart are the most significant for this moment that could be said anyway.
Kajargon will nod.
And at that, Ed would instruct the Earth Elemental to, as gingerly as it can, fill in the hole.
Fill in the hole.
In a few seconds, the trench is just uncompacted earthen mound that is slightly raised as the behemoth displaces the earth. Okay.
Should we?
Funeral complete. Want to mark it or anything?
Yeah. Should we find a way to mark it?
No, that's not necessary.
Understood. Okay. At this point,
This would actually be appropriate. Huh?
At this point, Ed will probably, his next priority would be go to check up on Hina again.
Okay. She's still unconscious.
Understood. Ed needs to summon one more friend. He's going to be casting Find Familiar.
Okay. How long does that take?
That also takes an hour.
That can
Okay.
be done in the
But he
carriage.
If your familiar,
That can be done on the move, though.
if your familiar is dead, it doesn't take like a week to resummon it, does it?
No, you just
Maybe that's Pathfinder.
you just pick a new one. Yeah.
Okay.
This will be my third
Okay.
familiar for this series.
Sure. You said that takes an hour or less.
An hour. Yes,
No,
it takes an hour.
Or next hour, you summoning familiar. Sure. Okay.
All right.
The road's
in the
ahead of you.
meantime, we all pack into the carriage, and Dante would request that we move kind of like this, kind of like that.
Kind of like that.
Okay.
Can y'all see it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Sure. Just leave that up for me, will you? You can, I believe you can hold shift. Just leave it up, or maybe
All
alt.
right. Yeah, I'll draw it again. Right here.
Okay. And like, by the way, like, if you don't want it to be like that far, it doesn't have to be that far.
Oh no. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. The idea
Okay.
is
That's
to
just
stay out of sight range of the village.
Okay.
We
Well,
just
so
wanna
let me
move-
let me draw something pretty simple here, and we'll just see if it's a little bit more, like maybe like a mile that way.
Yeah. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah. No, that totally makes sense. Yep. Something like that. And
Okay. Do you want to come to rest to the north of the town?
so Dante wants to come to rest offset. So imagine that there's a line pointing north out of this line is parallel to to where we saw those tracks going, right?
Yes.
And he wants to be just out of sight range of that. He wants to be like over here somewhere where somebody coming through would not see us.
Okay. Now, like, you don't know if it's like a line going
Right.
from the town. You never went that far. to
He's
follow.
assuming, for sure. Yeah.
And even if you did assume, there are limits to keen mind as far as like the vast, open, depthless space that the Heron Plains are. So it's up to you how you want to do this, but you loop around the town. This is going to take you 2 hours. Everybody's cool with that. By this point, you're familiar with some of Edric. Who is up front?
I do believe that would be Katrogrim.
Katrogrim? Anybody else rolling perception
Well,
checks for him?
Katrogrim
It is.
covering the guidance of the carriage while Edric is summoning.
Sure.
Some of us should
Katrogrim
probably do
Katrogrim
the
might actually say
rest.
because you're actually you're not doing anything to really motivate the Earth Elemental. You're just kind of like lazily holding on to kind of this leather strip, like running across in front of you. It's almost like a safety barrier. You can roll perception checks instead because Edric definitely can't since he's for the first hour at least since he's summoning somewhere.
Right.
Are the rest of us
Like how many?
short resting or?
Yeah, up to you guys.
Yeah, short rest would probably be a good idea.
If possible, I would also like to get a little bit of that short rest action too. Well,
to be-
actually, mine can wait for whenever Edric comes up to cover.
To be honest, after Ed finishes the summoning, he probably wouldn't bother being up in the front of the carriage anymore. He'd probably start resting because he probably needs it the worst out of anyone.
Okay.
But yeah,
The only reason I would is just to spend a little bit of hit dice and to get my key points back, really.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
I guess since this thing doesn't really need a whole lot of direction, can I still take a short rest as well? Or am I actively driving?
Edric, I would actually say just because Earth Elemental's understanding of space and distance is a bit weird. Edric would need to be around fairly often to guide the Earth Elemental, especially since you're taking such a tight circumference around the town. You're not just following a road; you're going in like a specific area around the town. And
he did tell the elemental to follow the instructions of anyone else in the party who instructs it.
Okay.
So someone else should be able to say, travel this direction, and then when it's gone far enough, they could say, travel this direction.
Okay. And
And
Dante would.
It does respond to just verbal instructions. It's not a mental
It does.
connection.
It does. Hi. Yes, please. Yes, ma'am. And Dante would be. Dante would definitely be like the one to be able to give those instructions the most specific, but it's up to you guys. I'm assuming everybody's been at least vaguely briefed on the plan here. Okay. Whoever is taking watches during the 2 hours of travel, roll me perception checks.
All right, I'll start rolling. I'll skip out on the short rest for now. I'm not too battered.
Mm.
How many perceptions? One for each.
One for each hour. If you're staying up there the whole time, Katrogrim.
Probably Telkar could fill in if he wants to for some of that.
I thought it was a 2-hour drive.
It is.
It is.
I could take one and
And Katrogrim can take a little meditative rest in the back.
Granting that my perception check is terrible, but I can't take one.
On
So
the
that's a
last,
great
on the last
perception
hour, he
for the
can
last
get his
hour.
break.
Well, it's a 2-hour drive, so.
Katrogrim should take the last hour and I should take the
Because
first.
I'm not coming in.
Because I'm guessing we'll run into things later,
I was
not
thinking
earlier.
last hour.
You were coming in.
Well, I guess if I'm working on one rather than the other, whichever one is mine, I did get a crit 28 in perception.
Okay. We'll say Katrogrim was the first one, Telkar's the second. And you're able to
15.
rest on the second.
In the second hour, Edric's gonna take his break, and you're gonna roll before you forget.
16 perception. Nice.
'Cause
Wait,
you-
why
15.
am I doing one?
Because
This is-
you've already
this
is only
passed
a-
your
this is
final
our-
year for 1 hour.
Yeah, and he's
Second
taking a
hour
nap.
now. Yeah. So
It's
therefore
it's
you're
only a 2-hour
taking a short
drive to
rest.
get around.
Yeah, we only needed 2, and Ed's taking a nap.
All right.
so you're
well,
gonna-
make
you're
sure
rolling,
to
right?
roll your dice.
For your short rest, do not forget to roll your dice.
I thought you were telling me to. I thought you were trying to tell me to roll perception.
Hit dice,
No,
buddy.
Nick.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
those of you who can
Nice.
expend arcane
Hit all
recovery, use your hit dice, refresh any short rest abilities that you can recover. Cool. Okay. On your first perception check, Katrogrim, the hour passes fairly uneventfully. You gaze out across the plains,
I need you one.
the smoldering ruins of Krybus Marmon. As you slowly orbit it, you look off to your west.
Kyle, did you take the first hour or the second?
Apparently, I took the first hour.
Alright.
You look off to the west, you see this enormous road that your map dictates is called Banner Bend. A slowly winding road. As you look off to the northwest, you see a myriad what appears to be large, grassy foothills with an occasionally large, mountainous-like uprising. Far to the southwest, far across the plains, which seem to be almost perfectly flat, allowing you to see this, a very, very distant, what appears to be a mountain rising up out of the plains. And by the way, as this is
I need to use your max hit points.
mid-afternoon to evening, it's beginning to get dark, you do see way off in the distance what appears to be tiny winking lights atop this mountain as well.
What your actual maximum is.
Top which mountain? Oh, atop
mount-
the mountain that I see.
Forward flash.
Yes, to the southwest. It's difficult to gauge the distance even with your crit, but it's far. As you begin to orbit, you're back on the road an hour in.
If I do see that on my thing, Katrogrim will yell back towards Dante, since he's the spellcaster that's not busy. And he'll attempt to see if Dante can see the lights as well, because that definitely feels magical.
Which lights?
There's a very far mountain in the southwest that has some strange lights about it.
After consulting the map, Dante would probably notice it's Herrenhart, correct? Or it's in the direction of Herrenhart?
Sure, roll me cartographer's tools.
Alrighty.
That will be
Uh,
intelligence with proficiency if you're
will-
proficient with it.
I will either attempt to make that check myself, considering I have proficiency, or I would have given him advantage.
Yeah, absolutely. You're pointing it out to him, so he would have advantage. So that's a 30. Dante, you know, based at least on what the map is saying, there is nothing else remotely mountainous or hilly enough to be anything else. What Katrogrim is spotting on this very clear evening is the distant mountain city plateau of Herrenhart, the capital of the Heron Plains.
Yeah, Dante would mention yes. I believe that is Herrenhart. You have keen eyes.
Probably 50 miles away. You can hardly believe it. It is quite tall, however.
Hey, so DM, is it like extremely easy? Like, it's super flat out here, right?
It's pretty flat except for the northwest of you. Like the further north you go in the Heron Plains, the closer you get to the Silent Mountain, the more hilly it gets.
Okay. I'm wondering, Dante will wonder aloud as he talks with Katrogrim. He'll say, it is very easy to see across these plains. I wonder if it would be best to stay here instead of going farther north. I wish to remain out of sight. Because he's worried about this. Does it look really hilly out, like, as we go farther north here? You mentioned it gets hillier, right?
Yeah. Further north you go.
I mean, perhaps we could have the Earth Elemental lay down and cover us. Or not cover us, but provide a slight
please
mound
don't
to
cover
hide
us.
behind. Edgearch, do you think that would be a good idea?
to use the Earth Elemental as cover, we could certainly try that. It would probably be best to have it cover us from a certain direction. What are you thinking?
Yeah. Okay. So,
He asked you a question.
oh, sorry. I hold on. I couldn't hear him as well.
It would probably be best to have the Earth Elemental cover us from a specific direction. What direction are you thinking?
From the north. From the north. It might be best if we just stop here.
You are on.
So
the
we're
road.
basically doing a stakeout, right?
Essentially.
If I understand. Okay. By the way, the familiar that Ed's has summoned is going a little bit more with a stereotype for his class. He's going to be summoning an owl.
What color? You gonna go full Hedwig?
Pardon?
Are you gonna go full Hedwig?
Oh, is that a reference to something I don't know?
Harry Potter? Yes.
Yeah. No. Okay.
It's a snow owl.
No. Actually, I was thinking more like a horned owl or a barn owl. Honestly,
Cool. Horned owls.
probably a horned owl. What's that?
I said yes. Cool. Horned owls are sick. Okay.
Yeah, they
good
are.
familiar. All right. What else?
I've not decided on a name yet. I'm
You guys
still
gonna
working
chill
on
here? You just
but he
gonna
will.
drop in the road?
He will probably have the owl fly up and glide around and watch for us as well.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll move.
In a gust of typhoon of wind and feathers, the great horned owl leaves the side of the cart through one of the windows. Actually, just barely fits. It's to kind of,
We'll go ahead and move like a quarter mile off the road to the north, and then we'll just stop there.
Can we get a different song? Because this one's really distracting.
Sure, dude. I want to change it. Blam.
Thank you.
Quarter mile off the road, sure. Go to my second perception check, Tuckar.
Yeah,
Or you already have that,
15.
didn't you? What was it? 16?
It was a 15.
15 exhaustion.
15. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, as the night air begins to pervade and disrupt your senses slightly, you do not see anything of particular note. You pass the well-paved road of the Harem Plains. There's like a huge jump as you guys get on the road, and another jump as you get off the road, as Bannerbend is like kind of a raised highway type deal. Yeah, you guys roll off and are now just like rolling down wild wheatgrass and all kinds of stuff as your earth elemental steed just blows past any and all shrubbery. Subtle you are not.
That I
As,
believe.
as the
Yes.
quarter of a mile passes, the earth elemental, following active instructions, slowly comes to a looks back slowly.
Elkar says, "Good work," and flips a sausage up into the Earth Elementals where a mouth might be.
There is
It just
no
kind
mouth.
of, it just kind of lands in the grass somewhere.
My goodness.
Kind of looks down like did something just like tickle me. What was that?
Ed will kind of shoot Telkar a kind of like now you should know better kind of look, and he'll use prestidigitation to clean off the grease from the elemental's face.
Yeah, it's like barely visible, but yeah, sure. You just...
My goodness.
Well then, lay down.
Earth Elemental has no idea what's happening to it. Okay. Dante walks up. Well, now lay down.
Edgearch,
No! Is that all you say?
No, Edgearch would. I mean, Dante would probably ask Edgearch to have him lay down or something.
Okay.
Follow your
all right.
commands. Edric said to everybody follow commands.
Yeah.
We might want
Dante
to
would know this.
untether it.
Yeah.
Yes.
We'll want to unstrap him
Actually,
first,
hang on.
probably.
If it earth moves, can it earth move through the bindings?
So I was going to test this. I was going to first test
There's-
it.
Unless you roll like a crit 20, there's no way your bindings could ever hold this thing.
This is true.
Yeah, I mean, get out of the bindings without breaking them. But
Just slurping around the binding.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
To quickly unattach itself would be the idea.
Yes, to unattach itself for sure. To attach itself a bit more difficult.
right, but at least
This
we
is-
can
this is why
unhook
you,
it for combat purposes really quickly.
Yeah.
By having it earth move, yeah, okay, alright. So what I was going to do is I was going to test it by just like saying, hey, Telkar, you got an extra rope. Let's tie it around its arm and see what happens when it earth moves. But I guess since the DM says it's fine, we'll just allow it to do that. Oh, thanks, babe.
Okay.
Could I ask you to get me some milk?
So, do you unbind it, or do you just want to earth move out?
We'll just have it earth move out as a matter of science, and then we will have it be a mountain for us.
Okay.
Okay, the way that whole thing was structured, I really thought the "Oh thanks, babe" was directed at Austin.
Oh, sorry, no. Christine just came in with a plate of cookies.
I'm Babe. What are you talking about?
Thanks, babe.
Okay, guys. So the Earth Elemental, get this, is going to be rolling its survival. It's going to roll survival.
What do I think a mountain looks like?
It's going to roll survival, and it's going to roll with advantage because you guys are kind of like teaching it. You're like, oh, maybe that part's a little bit. As it's going to go ahead and roll. This is the first roll. It's just a straight d20.
And then Kutrogrim just walks up and says, "You know it doesn't actually bend that direction, right?"
17. Okay. As with a 17, the Earth Elemental forms a stone hill, basically. The best it looks is like a pile of stones that some farmer deposited here.
That's nice.
It's quite massive, though, and it really stands out.
You really
There's nothing even remotely like this anywhere nearby. Like not for like another 3 or 4 miles north. It's just this stone pile of debris that glows faintly when you inspect it close enough. You don't think it's going to be super visible at night, at least from a distance, but you're not sure. Good news is, though, it's big enough to totally give your carriage defilade from the east. So nobody's seeing over it, which is a good thing.
Which was the point.
Yep. All right. Maybe we should counter blessings and stick with this.
Oh dear.
Edgearch, this
Well,
is
we should not counter blessings until they hatch.
Oh, wait, what?
Edgearch, this is a very excellent elemental you have summoned.
Now I just need to cast greater invisibility on the elemental. This will work perfectly.
Greater invisibility.
Let's make it translucent and just defeat the whole purpose.
Oh, that's funny.
If it's translucent, then the light passing through it is still warbled a little bit. So we're effectively under the effect of blur
Is it?
from one direction.
Blur in one direction. That's hilarious.
It's a good
Okay.
band name.
By the way, the owl's name is Chedland.
Shetland,
Shetland.
like the pony.
Chedland.
Okay.
I can put it in the chat. Chedland.
Shetland swirls overhead. Its night owl. Its great horned eyes gazing across the great Harem plains. You occasionally check in with it. When it gets close enough, you can see through its eyes. Actually, I think you can see through its eyes from no matter what, but you can only communicate with it.
A mile out, yeah.
I can
Okay,
see through its
yeah.
eyes when it is within shoot, I just looked at this. 100 feet.
Okay.
No, wait. I'm sorry, that's telepathic communication.
Yep.
Okay, my bad. Yep, you're right. Never mind.
Yep.
You're right.
Looks around, nothing apparently right now, as you guys have just settled in. Are you guys just waiting?
We're
Are we?
sneaking out.
So Dante would go ahead and pull out the sextant and ask for the Leandra half-orc coin, just to test it.
Okay. Tiny object. But you do know it fairly well. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna get some different music here real quick. Where art thou? Hold on. Hold on, I have kind of some good stakeout music that I've been using. I'm trying to find it.
Stakeout music.
I use this for Broken Road a fair bit. Because they have a rogue. Kind of sneaky music. Actually, let me check that watch together, because it's not in my D&D tracks real quick. Get this going.
So I told you I got roped into having lunch with my parents today.
Yes?
I'm going to a steak place, so stakeout is apparently the theme of the day.
Excellent.
Steak.
What that
Ouch.
means, Ben, you need to buy a steak.
Night plot. Got it. Okay, let me go find that.
My mic just turned on and off again. Mic check.
Heard.
Check, Mike.
Okay, cool.
No Mike, only Donnie.
No, Mike is my brother.
Oh man, we checked on Ina. We forgot to check on Mike.
Oh no! Call.
Ina's more important anyway.
Mike's like, I've been here. Hi, guys.
I've been here the whole time, guys. Have you not heard me?
I listen to every recording religiously.
Okay. As the night air begins to pervade, a chill wind cutting across the western expanse from the sea, you all settle in for the long haul. Who would like to take first watch?
I will take first watch.
Shall I assume you guys are attempting a long rest while staking out, and everybody's just like watching?
Well, Dante would probably go ahead and put up the magnificent mansion.
Okay.
Unless y'all think we don't need it right now.
There's someone outside of our window. I think they're sweeping the snow. Might be Jeff.
My name's Jeff.
My name is Jeff.
Sorry, I don't like when people just outside of my window. It freaks me out. Oh, it's Beverly. Okay.
To mention or not to mention, Donovan?
You're
Well,
not gonna get Donnie.
if we detect motion in the land or half-orc coin, we're probably not going to get moving immediately.
Oh yes, sextant not moving. Yeah.
Okay, but it can locate it. It does seem to be pointing towards.
It does point in that direction. It seems. Yes.
Okay, good. All right, just that was the whole point of that, just to test it. All right, yeah, Dante will go ahead and pop out the magnificent mansion, and he'll also
Donnie.
mention to Telcar. Say what?
I was just going to remind you that if you wanted to keep the mansion invisible, you could just shut the doors.
Yeah, that's the that's the given.
Okay.
How big are the doors? Are we theoretically able to put the carriage in the mansion?
No. I think we established that we could not. It's a 5 foot by 10 foot, so it's 10 feet tall, 5 feet wide. So even the not the beholder, the
The
behemoth,
behemoth.
couldn't
struggled.
fit in there.
It's too bad. Would have
Any-
been nice. We're 10
Well,
by 10.
the behemoth probably could attempt to squeeze through the door, considering it's a creature.
Does Telcar require any? Telcar, do you require any particular leather working facilities?
Yeah, that would be super handy, actually.
What would
that would be
what you
highly
require?
convenient all of a sudden.
Telkar's leatherworking ability is fairly limited, but he'll lay out probably like tools and workspace that would be helpful. Actually, no, he'll backtrack. Austin, when you said I was limited in my abilities, a lot of that was because of the materials we didn't have on hand, right?
Correct. Well, so you won't be able to do something like that again. You had the materials to just barely do this project. You could have done more if you had more materials, but this is the best you had. If you had facilities, you would be able to break down the stuff you've already created and maybe reform it into something a bit more useful, maybe with buckles and straps that could become undone a bit easier.
Then yeah,
that depends on your tech again.
Then yeah, he'll describe the facilities that would help with that process. Because I know we had discussed that materials conjured by the mansion cannot be crafted and used out.
Right.
of the
You
mansion.
can't take anything out of the mansion.
But any tools you make me, I can use. So he'll describe facilities. It'll probably just be like an additional workbench in the smithy that already exists in the mansion.
Yep.
Hey, Ben.
What's up?
A long time ago when you were tampering with the physics of the mansion, when you modified the material drastically enough, you could actually take it out of the mansion.
Are we sure? Because I feel like we came to the conclusion either that Donnie doesn't have the power to just conjure stockpiles of iron ore, or that or maybe it required like magical, like it had to be a fabricate spell or something, which I no longer know. I don't remember.
Fabricate had a lot to do with it, yes.
That makes some sense.
Well,
An 8th level spell slot and a 4th level spell slot to conjure a piece of armor is not unreasonable.
yeah, Dante would go ahead and like kit it out with any instruments you would need, the extra workbench, and he would just go ahead and add several bundles of leather and some ore, like not ore, but some iron ingots in there, just to.
It wouldn't hurt to try.
Is
yeah.
Is the mansion 8th level or is it 7th?
It's a 7th level.
I misspoke.
Or 7th? Oh, it's 7th.
I was about to say I don't think you quite have the 8th level junk yet. Okay.
And then yeah, Dante will go ahead and summon it.
Yep. A portal appears somewhere near the carriage. Okay, we'll assume that everybody who is taking their rest, or attempting a long rest during this stakeout, is going inside of the mansion, and only the people who are taking a watch are outside of the mansion in the open night air, unless otherwise specified right now.
So the thing I'll say, Dante, is if I am crafting during my long rest, I cannot keep watch during my long rest.
Katargrim can keep watch. He's fine.
Well, we can, Dante and Katralgrim and Edgearch can each trade out, probably. Would that cover a whole long rest? Am I thinking of that right? Three people for a long rest?
We need at least 4, one for each 2 hours.
So, yeah, a long rest is 8 hours long, and you can spend up to 2 hours performing light activity.
Okay, got it. That includes keeping watch. Okay.
Yeah.
In that case, maybe it would be best if we keep watch instead. Because we definitely need to keep watch the carriage while we're, snoozing.
Which I would say configuring some simple buckles would be light activity, but totally rehashing the entire harness during a long rest would be more intensive than it would allow, unless you want to scrap your long rest.
Okay. I will venture, just a thought.
Uh-huh.
If everybody keeps a 3-hour watch, and as a total for a party, we rest for 9 hours. 3 hours on watch, 6 hours of sleep, gets you a long rest.
This is true.
You could do that.
That maths.
Yep. So let's do that.
And then I would have 3 hours of crafting time, 6 hours of sleep.
Preparing
Sure thing.
buckles for some time when you can craft more intensely.
Well, and we're gonna remain here for a short while as well. Once we wake up, once the rest is over, we're probably going to have an away mission, for lack of a better term, where we attempt to try and track these tracks to the source. So.
Okay. And
Mission is that
Edric, what are you doing with your owl during the long rest?
he'll instruct the owl to also keep watch, and if the owl sees anything threatening or anything, basically, I mean, Ed's going to be sharing a lot with the familiar, so the familiar will know kind of what our situation is and what kind of things to look out for.
What's your thing?
Any undead, anything like the Reaper thing we saw earlier, any flocks of ravens, just whatever kind of threats there might be. And
Sure.
Ed will instruct the bird to alert him and alert whoever's on watch if it spots anything threatening.
Okay. So
Or
just so you
anything
know,
Interesting, really.
when if you are in the mansion and the bird is not in the mansion, you are separated by dimensions, and
That is
therefore no telepathy can reach you.
That's true.
However, you can still see through its eyes, and it of course can still follow instructions. But yeah,
You'll instruct it to notify whoever's on watch then, and Ed might occasionally watch through its eyes in a sort of relaxed manner. Just
sure.
lying.
Yeah.
Have
you
a
never,
nice dream.
you haven't, at least in recent memory, had a familiar that flew, and it's a really kind of immediately terrifying but extremely rather cathartic experience that you actually have to kind of stop and taper off as you're getting ready to go to sleep, as it just pumps too much adrenaline into your old heart. The watches begin. So whoever's first, go ahead and roll me the 3 perception checks for 3 hours. Yes,
Kajarkor will take first watch.
go for
What should I roll to be doing work on the harness as well?
it. Roll me a Tinker's Wisdom.
Yeah.
Oof.
Oof.
The Katrugum
Also
taketh
kind
and
of.
Katrugum giveth.
The Kajargrim giveth and the Kajargrim taketh away.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Katrugum. The night begins. Looking around, nothing real interesting. The owl just kind of perching on the small hill of boulders, occasionally taking flight, flapping around a little bit, but sailing back around. Do you have any kind of fire or any kind of heat or illumination in the campsite?
Probably not, considering the fact that the mansion is here, so we don't need to have fire.
Also, stealth mode.
Also, stealth
Right.
mode. But he
Um,
will be on top of the carriage, just to keep an eye on things at a slightly higher vantage.
Sure. You can't quite see over the rock pile from there. Just so you know.
Is it
If that-
possible I
if-
could do my vantage point from the top of the rock pile then?
Sure thing. The rock elemental hardly even minds. It appears to be mostly dormant by now. Hey, you get up there. Are you trying to be stealthy in any way, or are you just kind of just chilling at the top?
Probably be like a little stealthy, but not actively, considering the fact that if I
Okay.
see anything,
Would you like
it'll
to roll a
be-
check or no?
I'm probably just going to be naturally stealthy rather than actively stealthy, if that's a thing.
Sure. Not really, but it's okay. It's dark and you're far away from everything, so.
Yeah, that was the
Hopefully,
point.
But yeah, okay. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, your first check goes by, nothing really. You start to get pretty cold after the first hour. It's the middle of winter. You have no source of heat, not like the Earth Elemental is generating any.
Blizzard.
And yeah, you're a dragon boy, so assumably you have some essence of you have like a Draconomicon at your core, trying to pump red hot goodness into your veins. But it's pretty cold. So Roll me a Constitution saving.
Katrargum accepts this and understands that this is just more training to harden his body.
And this is for your full watch. This is con save.
So just one.
Mm-hmm.
I thought
15.
I thought for some reason Katrargum wasn't affected by the cold.
No, he's just really good at rolling con saves against cold.
He is.
Okay.
15. Yeah, you managed to stay off of the cold. Your toes and your hands are more or less numb, but you kind of find that inner heat as you meditate at the top of the boulder. And yeah, gaze out across the plains with the crit. You think you make out in the night air as the moon hits at just the right angle. The slightly embered ashen remains of Tribus Marmon in the distance, though it's difficult to tell. You don't immediately see any kind of movement around that area, and then your critical failure, you devolve to a bit of shivering. You actually have to close your eyes from which to kind of regain that inner heat. That watch goes by pretty uneventfully. Okay, Telkar with your Tinker's Tools this is for the whole long rest. The buckles exist. You managed to put a few holes in them that should better help, or rather, put a few holes in the leather thong that will allow the buckles to better hold together. But it's really not desirable at all, and you realize after a few seconds the amount of stress that's likely to be put on these. You may have to rework this from scratch. It's not great. Okay, that's Katrargum's watch. Anybody going next?
Yeah, Dante would go next. And could somebody refresh me? Did Dante ever cast contingency again on Ina's little doll?
I don't have it marked down, so I don't think you did.
Okay, yeah. During Dante's
No,
watch.
he did. It
Did
was
he?
it was
believe he
whenever
did.
you were at the keep. You recast it when we were still over at the keep.
I believe he did.
When you
yes.
were at the keep. Got it. Okay.
Well, if Dante didn't, he would cast it during his watch. So this is the point at which he
Certainly.
would do it. He had both prepared and he had both spell slots available, so he would do it. So either way, it's good.
Okay.
I'm saying that you have cast it, so you don't need to worry about it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and so Dante will go next on his watch.
Oh no, it is marked down. Awesome. Okay, gotcha.
All right.
Dante's going on watch now.
Yep. So does Dante suffer from exhaustion for these checks?
You're still exhausted.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, it's at the end of the long rest. Okay, got it.
At the end of your long rest, you get rid of half of your exhaustion. Rounded
So,
down.
well, in the mansion, Katrargum will go to the wash basin first, and stretch. Do a little bit of stretching for his meditation, and take a slightly warm bath
Yay, Dante was
That's
consistently
cool.
mediocre.
to remove some of the
13,
aches.
11,
Okay.
11. Yep. Yeah. You look out into the night. Where are you? Do you kind of take Katrargum's position as you realize where he's standing, or do you take somewhere else?
No, Dante would kind of climb halfway up the hill, and just like sit there looking
hill.
back towards the carriage, and that kind of like looking around,
What hill?
the
The
Earth
the
Elemental.
living hill.
the living hill, yeah.
Sure. Yeah. You look around. You realize I can't see,
Oh
and
no.
I'm cold. Roll me a Constitution saving throw.
Okay.
You should light yourself on fire. That'll help that.
I don't think Constitution saving throws suffer from exhaustion at one point.
Not yet. It's at like the third exhaustion point that you get it.
But no, seriously, Donnie, couldn't you just be like using bonfire to keep yourself warm as long as you're not worried about the light?
No, he's worried about the light.
I see.
Yeah.
You
You're
think
looking
he's gonna
around.
bonfire the Ethereum
You
himself.
you manage to kind of find that inner flame. You look around. You're facing the wrong direction. Also, you can't really see much more than like 15 feet in front of your face. You barely make out the vague impression of the carriage. and you make out the very slightly luminescent, kind of opal portal to the mansion hidden behind the hill. But yeah, that's it.
Okay, yep, that's fine because he's gonna be trying to listen with his ears and stuff like that. Like he'll,
Okay.
yeah.
6 hours have passed. The next watch is up.
Is that Telkar?
I think no, Telkar is working on stuff by himself, so I think that might be edge work.
Oh.
By the way, as for
Okay.
Ina, you guys just like found her bed and just tucked her in. She's out cold.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I figured.
Well, shoot. This is gonna be real bad on Ed, but all right, let's do it. Yeah, he
Could
comes
have
outside.
sworn that we agreed that Telkar would take the last watch. He'd just have 6 hours of, rest, sleep, doing things. I don't know.
I
no,
think we said
no, that wasn't the
3-hour
agreement.
watches was enough.
Yeah. The agreement was that you three would watch so that Telkar can work.
Which is a terrible
There's only
idea
4
because
of you
none
right
of
now.
you have dark vision. You didn't really think this
Yeah.
through.
But Katrogrim can see very far, apparently.
Yeah, and Ed can use owl eyes.
Yeah, Ed.
Yeah, you do have your owl that can help you.
Ed is going to try to tuck himself in some blankets or tarps or something in the wagon and just look through the owl's eyes for his watch.
Finally, a decent idea.
Yeah, right? Originally, I was
Interesting.
actually thinking about just having unseen servants and the owl help him collect wood for a fire, but that would make us obvious, so I guess we'll just tuck in.
Sure.
Investigate.
Absolutely. Yeah, go ahead and roll me perception checks
A
through your
perception.
owl familiar.
Yeah,
What-
through the owl.
Add-
What is it
Yeah.
name, like Chaplin or something like that?
Chetland, yeah. Let me
Chetland.
let me look up the owl right quick. I don't actually have that pulled up.
I can probably help you.
I could really help you out here.
All right, here we go.
Plus
Tiny
3.
beast unaligned. By the way, it is a fae. I was supposed to pick that.
It's a fey owl. Gotcha. Okay.
It has the Fey type to it because that's part of the Find Familiar spell.
Right. The owl has advantage on wisdom perception checks that rely on hearing or sight.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Okay, and we're using. It has a passive perception of 13. That's not bad. All right, we're doing wisdom, so that's +1. But it has advantage. Cool.
It actually has a perception modifier of +3. It actually has a skill. It has a +3 to perception and +3 to stealth. Yep. So
Thank
it's
you.
so it's a +3 with advantage.
Awesome. Nice, nice, nice. I was actually thinking that was a little low, so that's nice that you noticed that. Thank you.
Yeah, owls things that they're good spotters.
Glad for that advantage.
18. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are you doing with your owl? Is it remaining kind of close by to the camp, or is it flying around?
Relatively close by, but it's definitely flying for most of the time. Just kind of gliding and watching.
Just kind of orbiting the camp, or do you want to get it closer to the town?
Staying close to the camp for the most part. That's what Ed is primarily concerned with.
Okay. Yeah. In it through its eyes, you see this dark vision extends outward to about 120 feet. Everything within that range, let's say it flies maybe like 60-something feet overhead, is outlined in kind of monochromatic silhouettes. You can make out depth and everything. No color. Everything else falls off pretty hard beyond. But the moonlight does help a little bit. You're able to vaguely make out the impression of the town about a mile away.
Nothing in particular notable? Do
No.
I need to make 3 sets of these checks, by the way?
Yes, that was your first hour.
Second hour is 17.
17. Yep.
Third hour is 21.
Third hour is 21. Okay, great. Yes, so the third hour is literally the last hour of the watch and the last hour of the rest as well. everybody's beginning to wake up, and that is actually hilariously exactly what you needed. As you see, just like the sun is just mounting over the horizon, actually kind of you're looking east, so it's a little bit blinding as it casts over the plains. Your owl makes out something way in the distance. It appears to be a small, almost blocky-looking silhouette with very small black kind of line directly in front of it. It's vertical. And just very slowly, almost imperceptibly moving from left across the horizon to the right, towards the village.
I see. All right. This is what we've been waiting for, potentially. Ed will poke his head into the front room of the mansion, presumably through the door, and we'll see if there's anybody there. Is there anybody around who would be kind of hanging out in the
last hour of rest? I think everybody's awake doing light activity. No, because their light activity is watching. So yeah, everybody is groggily awaking at this point, actually.
Understood.
So nobody like in the foyer, but the unseen servants are there, kind of waiting on you.
Yes. Ed will instruct some of the servants to wake everyone and let them know that Ed has spotted something moving towards the town.
Sure. You just kind of see this imperceptible blur, and then just a dispersion of force as the unseen servants just blast through the mansion, kind of giving everybody at least a gentle shove and a nudge, as you get the impression something is up.
What's up with the intelligence saves?
Life spark.
They're not.
Life sparks.
Don't worry about those. I don't get to return them. Don't worry about
All right. Well,
it. There was only one anyway. So.
Yeah. Everybody's there. Just I'm gonna go for it real quick. Sure. Ina's there too, looking really bedraggled and haggard, and all those words, but slightly better than she did the day prior. As everybody just slowly comes out of the portal. We'll assume you guys have
any strength recovery?
Yes. Actually, on your short rest, I should have mentioned this. Everybody regained your strength.
Oh, okay.
thank you.
Everybody
Glad
regains
that
what?
happens.
The strength you lost.
Everyone
Okay.
that had strength penalties from the birds.
Oh, good. Yeah, I can turn that back up. Oh wait.
Same.
no,
I had a whole -8 to worry about.
Yeah.
Dante hasn't thought about it at all because he never uses it.
It never hit 0, did it, Kyle?
No, I have a 14 in strength. I managed to get down to 6.
Okay. Yeah, everybody's there. The sun creeping over the horizon, just outlining the dull, kind of wintry grass, but actually very pleasant-looking gold in the early morning light. As the earth elemental just doesn't stir at all. You see a fine level of kind of frost coating the boulders. As it got quite chilly last night, as any of you may have noticed, except for Edjark. Edjark, well, he was a little bit chilly, but he was all right.
Don't have to make any.
He didn't have to
rolls
roll
or
for it.
anything.
No.
Okay, good. Good. Glad.
Okay.
Okay.
Everybody's looking at Edjark expectantly.
Hang on.
You look
Christine
around
and I-
and don't even see Edjark. You're like, where, what?
No. Go to your spells.
Yes. Okay.
Give back your spell slots.
I'm working on it.
Alright.
My
Are you-
goodness.
You're not working
Anyway,
fast
yes,
enough.
no. Ed describes what the owl sees, and he takes another look through the owl's eyes and gives the most recent update on this object that he sees moving towards the town.
Yeah, you hear Edjark like yelling through the threw the wagon at you guys.
No, he poked his head through the portal.
Did he?
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
So
Yeah.
he's yelling
You don't even-
inside the mansion. Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So,
What do, friends? What do?
we need to wait. We
Should
need
I get
to
a closer
wait
look?
for it to get to the village, and then begin making its return journey. It would be best if we send one of the familiars out to get a look at who this is.
I will do it since my familiar can be recalled with instantaneously.
Are
Could
owls
do flock of familiars.
are owls typical in this region of Mara?
You don't know. Roll me a nature check.
Dante might know that. Yeah, Dante will go ahead and roll a nature check.
He might question whether he remembers that well or not.
Nature. 11.
11.
Thank you for being mediocre, Donnie.
You know.
You're consistently mediocre.
You know,
Hey,
owls tend to like trees. You don't know too much about great horned owls. You think they might prefer hilly terrain. If so, you think it may be possible that a great horned owl might not be too out of sight, kind of near the foothills where you are, but probably not during the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dante would mention this. It's probably best if we not send an owl. Perhaps Drebin should go. And at this point, Dante probably would have allowed Drebin to go back into his Shadow
Pokeball, yeah.
Realm,
Mm-hmm.
and he would summon Drebin again.
Okay.
Drebin, are you capable of making a trip back to the village?
Roll a persuasion check. Hey, boss. I mean, last time I did something like this, I mean, I got totally brainwashed, and then I did things to your backpack and people.
I did things to your backpack.
I had to do whatever I could to survive. I believe that the danger to you is non-existent at this point.
Listen, man, you have sent me into some wacky stuff. For that one time, you sent me over that walled-in city, and it was like full of dead people.
But the dead people could not fly.
And like later on, we found out every single person in that city got like turned into a vampire.
I don't believe it was a vampire, but
This
yeah.
this sounds like Birdie PTSD.
Okay. Where's your persuasion check?
Oh, sorry.
Mhm.
Persuasion. Dante has a defective familiar.
It's
have
a
a
greater
special
familiar, which
familiar.
means it has a certain degree of agency.
19.
19.
All right, how do you role play your your inspired argument against Drebin?
But you see, I own you.
Would you-
Oh,
Please be careful with
Oh,
your
no.
words, Donnie.
That is totally something Dante would say.
No.
But Dante would say this. Dante, Drebin, you have assisted me as my familiar for some time now, and your abilities have been invaluable to myself, and perhaps it is possible to believe that I would be dead at this point if it were not for your constant help, though in recent times you have resorted to extortion in assisting me.
You both look at each other for a second, and then Drebin just says,
Genius, Ben. Genius.
"One copper."
Dante fetches a copper out of his bag and gives it. to
Very
him.
good, very good. He opens his mouth.
Eats it.
Lightly puts it in, like a Catholic priest putting the little bread in your mouth.
Elkhart comments, Drebin, Where do you do your shopping?
Looks at you blankly. Responds and go. Looks at Dante. He just said shopping. What shopping?
Some people believe Dante speaking this in Abyssal. Some people believe that money is only for acquiring other goods.
Why would I ever want to get rid of this?
Sometimes the money, I suppose, is the end in and of itself. Now go. Oh, yes, we may need to leave the mansion first.
I may need to leave the mansion first. And
Yeah,
I think
so
you've already
we'll-
left the mansion.
Bye.
We're all set.
I'm
Okay.
gonna have to remember that point, and then as we're writing the book, I'll have to remember that Dante remembers he needs to walk out the mansion.
Okay. You fly, Drebin. As the squawking as you see this little black silhouette flap off into the distance. After about a mile, you lose telepathic communication. You want to follow his eyes, or do you just want to let him return?
Yeah,
Let's
we
see.
lost Kyle.
We are about like a squared plus b squared equals c squared. 1 mile to the west, a half a mile to the north. So, oh no, we're actually farther than I thought. Something's weird.
Sure. Are you trying to be inconspicuous in any way with Drebin?
Basically just be a bird. You know, don't like, land on his shoulder and peck him, but
Okay.
just land on a nearby building and take a look at him and then report back. Yeah, I
Sure
think it'd
thing.
be best if Dante doesn't try to sneak out there.
Sure thing. I mean, it would be Drebin doing that, but yeah. Okay. For sure. You see Drebin flap out there. Eventually sails downward out of sight after about a mile, losing contact. The question was, are you viewing it through your eyes, or are you just letting him go?
Dante's gonna view through his eyes as long as he can, and then.
That's forever, as long as you're on the
Oh,
same plane.
Yeah, Dante would totally view through his eyes then.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. You get the strange vertigo sensation of flying that you get sometimes when you use the fly spell, though actually like different this time. It's not like you're weightless, it's more like, you're constantly kind of fighting it. It's a different feeling. Still good. Yeah, you eventually alight on a small charred building, one that you saw earlier and inspected by hand. You see in the town square what appears to be a large, like almost like oversized wheelbarrow. Maybe like 4-6 feet tall on either side with an open back end. The back end kind of plopped in the ground. You can see the wheels kind of sunk into the muddy earth, facing the corpse pile. Then you see what appears to be a black-robed humanoid figure. With some effort, reach up and have to kind of step over some of the corpses as he pulls one down off, and you can kind of see him struggling as it comes off with one big shrug, and he realized with a shock that like the leg was like impaled by a spear or a piece of debris or something, as the leg just came off. And he just stops, just drops it, and you kind of see his head shake a little bit as he goes up to the top of the pile once again, a little more gently this time, pulls one down, kind of letting gravity do the work. As you see kind of the pile bodies topple over slightly and trying to turn over on itself, as he pulls the body and places it on the cart where 3 others already are.
This is what we're looking for. This isn't a person who's looking to bury the dead.
Yeah, Dante would like drop the link for a minute and
Yeah.
kind of report to the others what's going on, and he would say, I honestly was half expecting an undead thrall to be doing this work, but the figure appears to be quite human. Well, I suppose human, but quite not undead. And then he'll continue the link with Drebin.
Sure thing. Rebin continues to watch. This whole ordeal, Rebin received no words on when to return. That's kind of at his own discretion. So Rebin's going to continue watching for the next 30-40 minutes or so. As corpse after corpse, the cart is slowly filled up to the two side walls. You think probably a good 13, 14 corpses in there at all.
We should prepare to intercept.
Yeah, Dante would be like every 10 minutes or so he would drop the connection to
Sure.
speak with the others. And he would say, I definitely agree. However, he's going to be moving very slowly. It's my wish that we simply allow him to go where he's going to go.
Should we not intercept him on his way out of the city?
No, we should follow him. I believe. Do you agree?
Oh, I see. Well, it depends on what our ends are, but I think I see where you're going.
Yes, I could hold him and detect thoughts and rip the information out of a skull, but that's a lot of work.
Dante's getting late.
I suppose it's also possible that if this is a servant of someone so powerful as who we seek, there may be some kind of backup plan to keep their servant from being a disadvantage to them. So I see the logic in your decision. I agree.
With any
We
luck,
will observe
we'll be able,
and follow.
with any luck, we'll be able to track him without actually setting eyes on him.
Okay, at this point, the corpse is now kind of piled onto it. You see the hooded figure look at the corpse cart with a degree of how am I ever gonna pull this? Then you see a spark of servile ingenuity. As he waddles over to a pair of corpses that one of whom's legs fell off, and you see him waving his hands in the air as he pulls out a small blackened orb, casting some kind of spell. At the junction of the spell, you see a flash of blackish necrotic light as the two corpses begin to rise.
Here we go. Here
Yeah,
we go.
Dante, at this point, Dante immediately severs the link just for a second to say, "We have found the Reaper Kings," and he'll reconnect to watch.
Okay. Yeah.
Ed will say, since we're a while out, Telkar, I believe we should go ahead and start hooking up our steed. Because we do not know now at what speed he may be moving.
Sure.
And he will instruct the Earth Elemental to de-earth himself.
Sure.
And we'll begin hooking up.
Yeah, as you pop back over, Dante, you see now, having your connection momentarily severed, the pair of zombies now leaning their entire weight kind of on the rails of the cart, using their one good leg to push forward. As the cart kind of loses its static, what is the word? Its fusion with the surrounding terrain, the mud slowly giving way to let it dig its way out. It begins slowly but surely crawling its way northward through the village as the hooded figure kind of walks alongside with a certain dainty jog to its step, happy to be relieved of the burden, though visibly tired from its strenuous activities that just took place. Okay. All right. The Earth Elemental rises to its full height. Having been roused from the slumber, you see kind of the bits of frost and ice that had kind of coalesced on the sides of the boulders just crack and fall off in sheets.
Yeah, when Dante sees this, he'll kind of look over at Edgeark and kind of do a shh motion.
It's because you can hush an Earth Elemental.
And I'm wondering if it. Katralgrim, do you believe it would be best to send you ahead to kind of maintain close proximity to him, but perhaps not. Perhaps we should simply keep our distance for now.
Ed will say respectfully, Dante, I think that we should not only keep our distance if we're going to be stealthy, but also keep everyone together. We're not
Dante-
exactly in prime shape at the moment.
Dante nods. Agreed. And yeah, so he'll keep checking in with Drebin intermittently, but he'll start helping everybody get everything together.
Sure. Drebin, watching the figure in his corpse cart exit the village, flaps a couple times and then lays in a course for where he thinks you are.
Okay, cool. All right. And yeah, so we keep doing that for a while. Dante's not going to check the sextant yet, in case he grabbed one of the corpses with a coin in it. But he will once we get moving, and once the cart has had time to leave the village for a while, if that makes any sense.
Okay, yeah, we wait until there's a different heading for the sextant to point at. I see what you're saying.
Right. Yeah.
Sure.
Understood.
And you are attempting to follow the sextant?
No,
yet.
we're going to send we're probably going to send Drebin back out to follow him. I don't want to rely completely on the sextant, because there's the chance that he didn't grab a corpse that had the coin in its pocket. Unless he was able to get all the corpses.
From what you saw with Drebin, there was a few he left.
Okay. So he probably got it, but we'll still rely on some Drebin flight, or even Edgearch's owl if it maintains enough distance,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It could probably fly high enough that it'd be hard to determine what kind of bird it is, and that'd still be useful.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How long do you guys wait? The Earth Elemental fully erect. You guys are kind of all just around the carriage, Anseli kind of pacing back and forth, waiting for the queue to move.
How long do we wait, Dante?
Let's wait 30 minutes and then get moving.
I want to know Ina's reaction to all this.
Yeah, how's
Yeah,
she doing?
she's extremely non-committal and just like super fatigued. The moment she gets the chance, she just collapses into the carriage, not saying too much.
Ed will help tuck her in and make sure she's comfortable as she can be for her rest.
Did Dante
Might
say
even-
how long do we wait?
30
About
minutes.
30
is what he
minutes.
said.
Okay.
He'll also
That makes
use
sense.
prestidigitation to present her with a soothing aroma.
Okay, what kind of aroma would you like to go for?
What is
Lavender
it?
and chamomile?
Yeah, something along those lines, probably. Something that's rest-inducing. So chamomile or lavender or like.
Sure.
I
If you want, you can roll me a medicine check.
can't think of another one. Well, it might make it worse,
It can
frankly.
just be flavor. It's up to you.
Yeah, we'll try it just for flavor, but I mean, he'll at least default to like chamomile if it's a bad roll.
Cool. 30 minutes pass. The Earth Elemental's rearing to go.
Hey, it's not bad actually.
No, I gotta ask. It's about 12:30. How are we all feeling? I need to use the restroom.
I do have some stuff to get done today.
Okay.
This
Do we think we
would
can?
be a
Do
good
you
place to
think we can
move
go
on.
for another 30 minutes or an hour, or do you think we just want to end it here?
What do you guys think?
This is a pretty solid breaking point.
Let's keep
It's a
going.
nice.
I could
Well, I mean,
probably
we-
go for another 30 minutes, kind of at most.
Oh yeah, because you're
Hmm.
having lunch with your parents.
Right.
So do you want to do another 30 minutes and then cut off? See where we go?
I suppose we could stop here if that's the most convenient.
I don't think it's going to be like super like. I think we stop in 30 minutes. We should be pretty good, but that's just me. It's up to you
Alright.
guys.
Okay.
Yeah, so why don't we take a short break so Austin can go to use the restroom, and then
Cool.
we'll keep going.
Okay,
Stretch
I'll
your
be right back.
legs.
Yes, a lead. I told you we'd find a lead. Although
I wasn't
honestly,
quite sure.
to be completely honest with you, I almost missed that pile of dead bodies.
Yeah, it was
How do you do that?
Say what?
I totally missed that pile of rotting
I'm sorry.
corpses in the center of the village.
I'm struggling because Nick opened up his mic.
Oh.
I need to go.
Be right back.
No, like, you know, because I was like, man, we got to find something out here. We've got to find something out here that can help us. You know, we came all this way, and so we're looking around the village, and literally, like, I'm like, okay, well, I'll just go. It's time to go back to the carriage, and you know, Edgar's almost done summoning his elemental, or casting Planar Binding on it, and that's when I realized, wait a minute, there's a pile of dead bodies there. Like, who would have been alive to put it together?
When Katrogrim stood up on top of the thing, he noticed the pile of bodies, and then when we walked around the building, that's when we noticed the pile of bodies.
Well, right, like we knew we knew the whole time that the pile of dead bodies was there, but like, you know, like if a marauder band comes through, they'll kill everybody in the village and then pile up all the bodies in the center, right? So like that's a typical thing. Like that's just what happens, right? But in this case, that's not what happened. It was probably the fiend flying over, decimating the village, and then, you know, having a struggle with the Pegasus Knight and then leaving. So there shouldn't have been anybody left alive to pile them all up, unless it was some survivors who like left to go to Heronheart or something.
Yeah, the pile of bodies was sort of suspicious. Although, I don't know why in the world they would make a pile of bodies if they're just going to be harvesting the bodies from the town.
Well, it's a resource collection. Nick could tell you about that. In fact, in Star Citizen, when you have piles
he's
of bodies
talking,
and you
you're
want to move
talking.
them,
I can't hear both of you at the same time.
you pile them up.
What song is this? Sorry. Struggling. What do you mean? His internet probably died.
Who's in there? What?
Kyle is gone. He's been gone for a while.
Oh no, Kyle!
I'm back.
We need Kyle to run up to the necromancer and slap him.
No, what happened, Carl?
His internet died. I'm gonna.
I mean, actually, that is a valid strategy. Like, if we were to kill this one, they'd probably send others to come and, like, try and find him. But that would take forever.
You probably don't want to start with attacking everything.
Well,
You heathen.
agreed. Yeah, we want their help.
For their services. Why don't you answer your phone, you nugget? Ugh.
I'm sorry, am I irritating you?
Yeah, you need to answer your phone.
Hey, welcome back.
Yeah, thanks.
You weren't in the call. You haven't been here.
So, Carlton, the current plan is to go for another 30 minutes, and we're gonna end.
Yep. So until 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time.
Is that okay with you, Kyle?
I mean, I did have another session before too. It's not like I'm
Did?
doing much anyway at the moment. Well, they
But
were
it
being
sounds
very
like it might have been
wishy-washy to
canceled.
the last. Yeah, it might have been canceled, but apparently we're available now.
Yeah, they're over there right now, I assume. Yeah,
And I'm
you
kind
guys
of
ready to...
I'm about to brawl.
Right. Okay. Well, do you want to push another 30 minutes real quick, or do you just really need to go, Kyle?
I would really like to go.
That's fair.
That's fair. This is a great stopping place anyway.
Yep, so we'll enter.
Oh, you're leaving?
Yep. Next
Alright.
time on Winter Falls.
Next time on Winter Falls.
Cool. Let's do
Kyle's
MVP.
ending the session.
And
This is a
We'll
very
go ahead.
odd feeling. I'll pop over, but whenever everyone else sends their vote, I'll send my vote as well. And just put the money in chat.
What's
Sure.
happening? What did I miss? What's
Kyle
did
is
you-
leaving.
Oh, is Kyle lame?
I feel
Yes.
like Ed's summons did all the heavy lifting this session.
Yeah, it's nice.
With level twos.
And then there's the
Oh,
fact that he
heavy
used his
lifting.
brain by actually using his owl for his eyes and staying inside of the cart instead of, being on the cold.
Yep.
These men.
Yeah, this is kind of this. Ed is finally kind of coming into the vision that I really had for him, being very utilitarian. Just a lot of utility and just letting the minions do the lifting.
Okay, y'all ready to vote? Alright, just remember the one. 3, 2, 1, go.
Dantug?
Whoa.
Why'd you vote for Dantug?
Because he discovered the lead for the Reaper Cakes.
Oh. No, you didn't. That was Edgark.
Dante investigated the tracks and realized there was a cart coming to and from the course path.
Yeah.
Oh, that.
Ed might have had the thought, but Ed wasn't there.
Dante, Dante exists to carry the plot forward. Edgark did some cool stuff this time.
Absolutely fine.
Donnie sounds a little disappointed.
No, I'm fine. Like I actually wanted Edgark to get this one.
Cool. Everybody's getting 450?
Including me?
No, not you.
Darn.
Because
Alright.
she's dead.
Dead.
By the way, Christine, did you or Austin, did you ever add that 1000 XP to Dante's list? Because I never did. But I didn't want to do it and accidentally do it twice.
I was under the
Uh,
impression that the people who made their list before the weekend got the 1000 XP.
This
But-
is true,
But
and you did not.
yeah, you said you were gonna do it that weekend and you didn't do it. You did it on like a Monday or Tuesday. But that is up to Austin if he wants to be kind.
Yeah, no. It wasn't a timed thing. It was whenever you get it done. So if it's done now, I think it is. You get 1000 XP.
Okay. You know what? I think there was some stuff I was supposed to add to it. Now that I think about it, so maybe.
Are
I'll
you
There-
going to also give inspiration to whoever one was your favorite?
Yeah, and that was going to be done when everybody's is done.
I'll
So
try and get that
everybody
done
gets
this
XP out.
weekend. Or
And whenever the
week.
alterations are finished, I don't want to judge a incomplete product. So when everybody's stuff is done, then we'll go to that phase, and then we'll go to the next phase, which is you guys voting for the one that you like.
Because I'm done with mine.
Right.
Are you done with yours, Ben?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you done with yours, Nick?
I'll take another look at it, but probably. But I'll take another look at it.
I need to
think
add
there
some
were-
stuff to mine that makes it more descriptive. I think.
Yeah.
I might too, but I think it's mostly done. Mostly, at least.
Oh yeah, XP's out
Yay.
there. So Edric gets an extra 200. Looks like so 650 to you total this session, Edric. Yeah, fun session. We got some interesting stuff coming up next session. I'm pretty excited. I think it'll be fun.
And to think we would have missed out on getting this lead if we didn't have Kyle look at that rainbow. Kyle's actually carried two sessions right now because he saw that rainbow.
What was the rainbow?
The day before when we were leaving. Can you move your character sheet out of the way, Nick, please, so I can actually see the map?
Okay.
Oh right, one of the weather phenomena.
Risthook. Yeah, when we left Risthook, we were out like a quarter of a mile, and it was snowing and raining and sleeting, and it was nasty. And then it cleared up, and then Controlgrim looked at the sky, saw a rainbow, and then suddenly we teleported. Well, after some fog and stuff, which made me think that it was like a blessing from Avandra. That maybe the gods are on our side after all.
I'm gonna go ahead and stop the recording.
Okay.
I mean, if you were a god, would you want to be Vecna's coworker?
I don't know. You get pretty good benefits.
I don't know. It sounds like his minions aren't doing a very good job right now, so he might be kind of angry and cutting some bonuses.